Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Hey, Zarius.
Hello. Who's that?
I'm that terribly creepy villain you've been working on. I had
Oh,
some thoughts about some terribly overpowered abilities that I could use against your players as they fight wave after wave of my seemingly endless minion horde.
that sounds really fun, but I don't know where my notebook is right now for my dungeon
You
notes.
fool! You should be using World Anvil.
World Anvil? What's World Anvil?
World Anvil has everything you need to start creating and building
Really?
your world. You can upload maps, make character or villain profiles, timelines, update world lore, and much, much more.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna have to definitely sign up for. Why are you laughing like that?
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to our incredible or awesome Tuesday night campaign, episode 4 of Vow of the Keepers. Oh, got a little late start today due to horrible things like storms everywhere. But we are here. So, of course, we want to thank everybody. And our usual, we will not be responding to follows, hosts, bits, subs, donations, unless in the amount of 200 or more, at which point David will truffle shuffle and I will meme lord for the entire stream. But without further ado, we want to thank our incredible sponsor, World Anvil, for everything that you need to start creating and building your world. You can sign up for free and get started right away at www.worldanvil.com or hit them up in the Discord at chat. And also, I think World Anvil just went over today. They are working on a new, basically, image manager. So you can organize your images easier, keep them all in various categories and everything. So it's a nice upgrade and should be cool once it's out for everyone to use. And I want to thank Roll20 for their support for the virtual tabletop we use, as well as the membership and the supplemental book materials that they provide us. And of course, we are still looking to hit that sub goal. What is the sub goal we're going for the next book, Mr. David?
25.
25. So 25 more or 25 total?
Total.
Total. Right, so if we get up to 25, we'll be giving away another book. It's a copy of the latest adventure, The Boulder's Gate Descent to Avarice. So if we can hit that amazing goal, it'd be awesome.
You can see me and Kim fight for it since I won the other one.
Oh boy, yes. All right, so without further ado, let's pass it over to tonight's Masters of Ceremony and GM, to Kim.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us this evening. We are picking up right where we left off in the council chambers of the governing council of the Kingdom of the Druidic Alliance. After some tense-ish discussion and conversation, one of the council members, Loris, a druid, is reluctantly going to be playing tour guide for our party here. It is currently early evening ish from where we left off, and let's go ahead and jump right in. I believe where we left off, the party was interested in investigating the wyvern roost. Is that correct?
Yes, I think that was our point of interest at this point.
I think so, yeah. If I remember right.
Yes. We wanted to go see the wyverns before we found a place to stay. So, apparently.
Okay, so Loris will kind of like more timid, sort of quiet, reserved kind of person is just going to kind of shuffle past and lead the way uh, out of the council chambers and back out onto the streets. Little. So, looking at the map of the city overall, it sprawls quite a bit out into the kind of wilderness to the north there. But where we're interested in going right now is up here in the southwest corner of town, not far from the council chambers, where the Wyvern Roost resides. It's a relatively short-ish stroll over a couple of bridges through the woods. Grandmother's house will go. Which
Alright.
one?
So I'm following the rest of the group because I think most of them had the idea to go there, so I'm just following along. I don't know what their plans are there, but
Lucy's
Just-
oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that Lucy's probably going first, cause she's the tank, and she doesn't want anybody like get hurt from. I don't know. Just in case, go up front. Is what I meant to say.
Yep, I'm following behind, tapping on your armor.
Leave my armor alone.
I'm gonna walk along with our escort and try to chat her up and be like, hey, I'm sorry about all that. We're just kind of on edge because somebody tried to kill us and stuff, and we're just trying to figure out what's going on. But I'm sure you guys have a handle on it because you guys seem super cool. I mean, look at all these animals. How can you not be?
I totally get it. I do. It's just like we're trying to keep the city calm and keep order and things and like all this crazy news is flying around all of a sudden and everyone's a little, like you said, everyone's a little on edge and it's having you guys come barging in like you did. It's just it makes everybody a little extra nervous. It's keepers showing up in a big group like this. It's usually we just have to deal with one of you at a time. It's
Well, you don't have to be afraid of us. It's cool.
let's see. Sorry.
I'm pretty much taking up the rear, just kind of keeping an eye on what's going on in the city, who's paying attention to us, and who's paying too much attention to us.
Okay, so as you start to approach the whole Wyvern Roost complex, it's a couple of buildings connected together. The one to the northmost is just a single-story, low-height building. The middle one is a bit bigger, 2 stories, and then the last building is the real massive uh, structure that looks like basically just looks like a giant barn, a couple stories tall. With big doors up high in the air that looks like where wyverns would be able to fly in and out of and things like that. So the main entrance is in the middle building here, which you'll be approaching with Loris at the front. Let me just jump you over. So Loris will lead the way into the building. And you see, like, as it's around late evening, or not late evening, like mid evening, there's some people sitting around having supper, some general attendants and things running around, trying to attend to some of the rangers' wants and needs. It's fairly sparse. It's not, they're rangers. They're not really luxurious accommodations. It's just something. It's a place for them to crash in between rotations and flights and things of that sort. So there's a few people just kind of sitting around the table, server and a cook in a kitchen that you can see. To the north or to your right, you see a set of doors, and then to the south, there's a larger pathway that leads down towards the large barn-looking building.
Zara's gonna walk over to the people that's eating and be like, "What you eating?" Because he still hasn't had anything to eat and he's hungry. So he's still looking for food.
One of them just kind of turns to you. It's like, just a standard supper, just a little bit of, meat and potatoes.
Oh, you got any more?
Yeah, you'd have to check with the kitchen. They could probably rustle you up a dish, I guess. Who are you exactly? What are you? I don't think I've seen you here before.
I slide into a chair. Oh, I'm just visiting. Don't worry about me. I'm with her. And I point over toward the druid that brought us in.
Okay, and the ranger kind of, like, acknowledges that she's a council member, but at the same time is a bit like, what are you doing here? Let alone what are they doing here? Like, the druids tend to kind of keep their distance from the roost. They're not especially thrilled with the idea of taming the wyverns in the way that the rangers do and using them for transport and defense and things of that sort.
Oh, that's not my fault.
Well, obviously, but that's just kind of Loris
Yeah.
is very clearly, like, not used to being in the space. She's familiar with it as a council member, but it's not her neck of the woods, so to speak.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna sit there, and if there's like a glass and some wine available, I'll pour myself a glass of wine.
Oh, lordy. Lucy just looking at you like, really? Really?
I
Now?
give you a look back like I'm hungry.
She shakes her head like, whatever.
So Loris is doing their level best to give you the dime tour, just kind of a general overview of what the rangers get up to, that they fly flights over the kingdom because of the size of the wilderness and the swampland. It can be tough to navigate on foot, and horses get stuck and things like that, blah blah blah. So we've developed this relationship with the wyverns so that they can do patrols and kind of keep an eye on things, but we try not to interfere too much with the natural state of the environment, and just giving you the whole pitch of the environmentally friendly Druidic Alliance and how all the other kingdoms should strive to be at one with nature the way that they do, and all the crazy construction that they're doing out at Forge Hearth is just getting a little out of hand, and trying to sort of go off on tangents and lead the conversation away from everything else that's going on.
So, are you guys like actually patrol guys? Like, do you go out?
One of the other rangers at the table just like, yeah, we fly over. I mean, we try to be careful not to cross into any of the other kingdoms, but yeah, we do laps just to kind of make sure that nothing too crazy is going on. The druids over there like us to leave nature to its course, so we don't get involved too much with some of the natural creatures conflicting with each other, things of that sort. But every once in a while, we gotta land in a town and help them out, or do some law enforcement kind of stuff. Some of us prefer it more than others.
How do you feel about the druids? And where's that cook? I'm famished.
You see us, the server, come over, and it's just like, so everybody's eating, I
Oh
guess.
no, just me.
Just him. He's too famished to wait.
Okay, and she'll run off and grab a plate for you. Since everybody, it seems to be on friendly-ish terms. It doesn't take her more than a minute to just scurry off and come back with a plate for you.
Oh yeah, I devour my meat and potatoes. Just kind of like talking through. What do you think about the druids?
with one of the druid council members sort of standing fairly over your shoulder, they're maybe a little nicer about it than they would be otherwise, but it's one of those like, they're a bunch of tree huggers and they just want to be one with like we're one with nature because we're explorers. We venture out into the wilderness and tame it for ourselves, and the druids are just kind of like they'd let moss grow on them if you let them. They just want to sit there and meditate and do their you know and the some of the magic that they like to do. I don't get it really. Like, just give me a good bow and a decent blade and everything's fine. Like, I don't need to be casting spells with plants growing and summoning animals out of thin air and all that craziness. But we make it work here. We've found our delegate. The clerics do most of the uh, peacekeeping as I understand it. They're the ones who kind of keep everybody on the same page.
Clerics, got it.
And could some... Well, you said you patrol.
Mm-hmm.
Who would it be that might have gone a little too close to Victoria? Because we saw a wyvern on our way here. Just wondering. It's curious.
It would depend on when. I mean, we all take different shifts and things. I mean, if it was, morning, night, afternoon,
I'd say yesterday
what color the
afternoon.
wyvern was, things like that. That would, it's hard to. We'd have to check with the duty roster and stuff. But I'm sure we could probably figure it out if we really had to. Is it something you need to know?
Perhaps. Could be. Good to know, yes, I'd say.
Okay. Well,
What my giant 10 friend means is we saw a wyvern shortly before we were attacked by some frog people on the road.
I was trying to be a little more diplomatic about it, but yes.
I just give you an incredulous look as I shove the potato in my mouth.
you got attacked by some of the bollywogs.
Yeah, on
they
our-
seem distressed.
Yeah,
well,
we
I
were
mean,
on
they
our
didn't
way to.
really attack. They just came out and gave you guys a fright.
We were on our way to an unnamed village on the outside of the kingdom.
Well, we could definitely check with them. The big thing with the bollywogs is they really blend in with the swamp. Like if they're sitting still, it's real hard to spot them, especially from up high. We generally sort of monitor their movements in general, more so than specific, just because it's real tough to keep tabs on them. We make sure that their encampments don't move too far in towards the villages and things like that. But
Do you know why they're not staying where they usually do? Like, is something
no,
going on in the swamps or something?
we haven't really nailed it down. For the most part, their territory is still pretty where it normally is. We've noticed, or we've had some like reports come out of the village that they have been sort of like sending out little squads, I guess. It hard to give them too much credit for being organized, but something vaguely resembling a squad, um, out more towards the road and towards where the outskirts of the town and things of that sort. But they haven't really posed any sort of significant threat. We tend to be able. The village itself has been able to sort of keep them at bay. They're agitated for some reason, but we're not really clear on what. It's hard to trudge deep into the swamp. It gets pretty tough to navigate and traverse.
But I mean, you guys fly over it.
Right, but
Right.
and from up there, we haven't really seen anything. Like there's no crazy
No,
swamp
like,
monsters or anything
giant
climbing out of the.
blackness oozing out of everything with tentacles and stuff like that. Like,
No, if there was
moving into
anything,
the hells.
if there was anything that blatant going on, we would have called you ourselves to come in and deal with something like that. Like, we don't even
That's
need to
fair.
mess with that kind of giant. Like, we deal with the little stuff, you know. We try to keep things calm. Once it gets that level of out of hand, that's when we call for keepers.
What kind of little stuff?
Well, we've been the bollywogs that you guys brought up, but the village is dealing with that themselves mostly. Local rangers have been handling that more so than us. We deal with you know, sometimes there'll be wolf packs coming out of the woods, decide to go after a farm or two, things of that sort. Just stuff where the druids get a little squeamish of having to deal with the animals being animals. They're not as willing to um, treat them like the creatures they are, and that's when we have to step in and sort of put them down.
Like when crows start to act a little more aggressive, I take.
I
She's
mean,
really creeped out about the crows that we saw on the way into the kingdom.
if they were attacking people, I would suppose that would be something we would have to intervene on. Yeah, but I haven't heard anything about that. Have you heard anything about? No, I haven't heard of, like, crows attack. No,
Okay,
I mean,
maybe
they're
not
birds, so-
attacking, but
They were just
seem
watching
pretty
us.
creepy.
Hmm.
Unlike crows normally, you know, they just look and then they look away or they fly away. But these ones just like kept glancing and staring.
Maybe they
That
were
was
just
odd.
nosy.
Lucy just seems unconvinced by that. Like, you can see she's like, there was something about these crows.
Hmm.
I still think they were people.
Yeah, I mean that's something druids can do. They can turn. That would be more of their line of business than ours, but that's they turn into all kinds of animals when they're in the mood. That's what they've got, that construction project, and you see Loris just like,
A
and the
Construction project. As Zara is like licking his plate.
and the rangers just kind of like, yeah, just, you know, thing that they're doing, and shuts up. Like,
What would they happen to be doing?
oh, I don't know. It's just, you know, idle chit chat and things you hear when you're walking through town.
Now, come on, we're all being friends here.
Oh, we'll have to definitely take a look at that after we're done here then.
Mm, Loris interjects and is just like, it's a public work project that the council approved. It's not a druid thing. We're expanding some of the canals in a different part of the city. Just, you know, standard public good, public works project. No big deal. We just had to shut down some streets and move some people temporarily because we didn't want to disturb residents and things. So we really do, and then, you know,
Well, we're the
Tot-
public,
totally
so we
standard,
want to
totally
watch
standard.
it work.
As terrible as my name, an insight check.
I mean that, as far as you can tell, Loris is being on the up and up. It's you know, it's a public works project. They're doing some kind of digging and construction.
There shouldn't
Well-
be anything against us just taking a look then, if it's that banal.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's a construction site. You know, it's there's holes that you could fall in. We don't want you rolling ankles. We don't want you getting hit in the head with a, you know,
We almost got
Ah,
our heads exploded, and we're almost attacked by frogmen. I think we can handle a few holes in the ground.
it'll be fine. Me and the big one, we got shells. It's cool.
She's gonna look at Shelly at the mention of the big one. Thanks.
Yeah, your shell is awesome. You keep it super shiny. I like it. I mean, we're
So-
all friends here, so why couldn't you have just told us that? Like,
Well, thank you for the meal. Oh, sorry.
the Rangers are just kind of struggling. Like, we do our thing over here, they do their thing over there. We try to just, it it's an alliance. It's not so much a friendship, if you get what I mean.
Well,
Like,
I mean, it's only fair if we're here looking at your thing that we go look at their thing. We don't
That's
want
a lot of
anyone to
things.
feel left out.
and Laura said just like, I mean, we can. I mean, we're here, so we may as well,
can we see the wyvern?
Yes, let's go look at the flying scorpion things.
She's gonna pat on Zara's shoulder. Don't worry, I'll protect you.
Are they like pets or like people? Like
And-
dragons are people.
you hear the Rangers say pet and Laura say person at the same time, basically. And then the Rangers just like, they're relatively tame. Don't make any sudden reaching movements near them, but we've basically tamed them for the most part with the adults. You got to be careful with the kids.
You have babies?
And the ring just kind of gestures to the door that's to the north, and like the hatchery's that way, but the main roost is that way. Points towards the south hallway.
Oh.
Guys, there's wyvern babies over there.
I'm not sure it's a good idea to go disturb the babies at this time.
Oh, let her go see the babies. Come on, I'll go with you, Shelley. You can say hello to all of them and offer them hugs.
I have to go with. Just to make sure everything goes alright.
So Loris is like, so barn, hatchery, where? What?
I guess the hatchery, and then we'll see the adults.
Wherever the
perhaps.
babies are for Shelley.
Aw, thanks guys. I knew you were my friends.
Okay. So Loris will lead you up through the north. There's just a narrow sort of hallway that runs between the two buildings, double doors on either end. It's a protection method in case any animals get loose. They can kind of trap them in the hallway, sort of a deal. So there's set staggered sort of gates along the way to make sure that they can contain anybody who gets a little too rowdy. So you make your way through that hallway. And you will wind up in.
Or I guess it might over there. Me.
Ooh, sorry. Just that.
So was it Forrest who tried to hush the Rangers from talking about the construction project?
Yes. Yeah, there's that sort of like ixnay on the object prey.
And why they go off to see that we're going to
Okay.
Ah.
What? Me stage a distraction? Never.
When an experienced DM in his own right splits the group.
So you cross through the hallway, past the couple of protection gates that sort of break it up into sections, and cross over into the hatchery is what it's called. There's a couple of attendants walking around. You see along the western wall, there's a couple of like egg incubator type setups where they would be able to take care of eggs independent of the wyverns themselves. They can sort of put them there and incubate them, and hatch the wyverns on their own terms, essentially.
Jurassic Park style. I
mhm.
dig it.
And then in the northeast corner, there looks to be like a barred off cage kind of a deal. You can hear some rustling inside, but just because of the way it's cut off from the rest of the building, it's relatively darkish inside. And then there's just a couple of people walking around, kind of tidying up and attending to things.
Gonna go like snoop a little, see what I can see, but don't touch anything. I don't want to get my hand bit off. I kind of need it.
So as you get closer to the bars, you can see that there's a few hatchlings inside, like just relatively newborn looking wyvernlings, real tiny babies that they look like they may have just been hatched within the last few days, 2 weeks or so. They're just kind of chilling, wrestling around with each other, playing, general sort of baby animal behavior.
They're so cute.
Tiny murder babies.
I'm gonna like cast Mage Hand and use my Mage Hand to kind of like pet one.
Oh,
Okay. It's
Shelly.
you see it kind of like bristle a little bit at first because it's a spectral hand that's randomly petting it. It's like, where the hell is that coming from? What the? But eventually, it kind of like calms down a little bit and lets the hand pet it a little bit.
Oh.
Just gonna amuse myself for a little bit and let them have some time.
Okay. And you'll see the attendant that's close by to you. They'll kind of stop and be like, just be careful you don't get them riled up. Just don't. Wait, who are you people? Why are you in our hatchery?
Hi, I'm Shelly.
And
like, that explains
she likes
everything.
animals.
yeah, like Loris will walk up and be like, they're guests of the council. Just let them look around and be like, oh, okay, and they go back to what they're doing and let you kind of look around. But there is that moment of like, oh, hi, wait, what?
And anybody who's nearby that like strike up a conversation about the wyverns and see what they like. Are they named and what kind of personalities do they have and stuff like.
And you get a they're not named just yet. They're going to get paired to basically rookie wyvern riders come in and bond with a hatchling, and then they grow and pair off, and that's how they establish the relationship. And otherwise, a wyvern would bite you in half just as quick as they'd look at you. But by establishing the bond early, they sort of grow up together into a rider and a
That's cool.
wyvern pair. But these couple haven't been bonded yet. They're waiting on their rookies to pass their exams and things like that.
Cool.
Tink, 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 tink on the armor.
Lucy's gonna grab Czar's hand and be like, I don't want nothing happening. There's tiny murder machines in here.
I'm a tiny murder machine.
You're a tiny murder machine. Even
That's
though you're
what I just
taller than
said.
me. But you're taller than me. That makes no sense.
It's not my fault you're short.
Don't start.
That's good for me.
Okay, so what else is everybody getting up to?
Well,
I'm just.
while they were distracted,
Sorry.
like I said, while they were distracted, I am talking to try to strike up a conversation with the Rangers, see if I can get more out of them about this construction project.
That's fine. They're relatively in the dark about it. They're just kind of like, well, we fly over it now and again. It's all walled off and the canals are all blocked off at ground level. But we do flights over the city, so we get to see bits and pieces of it. They're digging deep, big holes, big like pits almost. I don't know what kind of canal needs to be, you know,
It's
100 feet across, but yeah, big old pits. I don't know what. Maybe they're looking to make some sort of dock or something. I don't know. It
and
seems a
I
little
think they
weird.
would want the Rangers involved if they were building canals. I mean, you guys are great trackers. You find the best routes to run the canals. It's strange that you weren't involved if these are canals.
Well, the Rangers on the council, they approved it. I would assume they consulted them about it. I think we're down here doing flight stuff. There's other Rangers in town that do other kinds of stuff too. We're not the only ones, but that's just what we get to see when we're flying over.
100-foot wide, like just holes.
I mean, not like they're thought they're pits.
Like
They got
craters, like crater type thing.
like there's like ramps going in and out of them and stuff, and they didn't just like carve a hole out. They like, I don't know, they're digging out something, or I don't know.
So they're just digging out a huge area. That is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed a little weird to me, but
That is the most odd canal building I have ever heard about, and I've read a lot
yeah.
about canal building.
Yeah, it looked more like a swimming hole than a canal to me, but what do I know? I'm just
Interesting. I appreciate it. I kind of like, it's kind of like slip 'em a gold. Go have yourself a good night. I appreciate it. Thank you.
okay. Thanks. Sure. Yeah. Not gonna turn down free money.
Is there anything in this room we're still in?
Pardon?
Did you say, is there anything in the room worth stealing?
Yes.
Oh
One of the hatchlings, but I don't know if you can sneak it out under your coat.
Nah, I'm good. I don't want a little murder bot.
my.
Not really. There's a couple of desks along the north wall that have notes and things about the hatching process and the recent batch of hatchlings and how they're progressing and things like that. It's mostly like veterinary notes and things of that sort. There isn't really anything overly special. It's all standard sort of vet equipment or medieval veterinarian equipment.
All right. Zarv's just kind of bored pestering his little paladin friend while Shelly does her thing.
Lucy is just watching, just making sure the Shelly isn't endangered by the little things, and like holding Zara's hand whenever he starts tapping on her armor again. Like, stop it! Are you a kid? Knock it off. But
No, I'm not a kid. My childhood was robbed from me.
I guess we're both without a really fun childhood.
And Laura's just kind of gives that like, see, everything's fine, everything's going on just normal like it's supposed to be. It's just business as usual here in the kingdom. I don't. We tried to tell you, but we're very
Lucy's gonna
adamant.
lift her hand and be like,
Yeah,
nah,
it
we'll
was
judge.
wonderful seeing the weapons. We should probably find a place to, bunk down and at least stay for the night. I kind of inflex that in my voice so the rest of the group can pick up.
That's right. They were supposed to find us reasonable accommodations, and I turn and look at the druid.
Well, I was here with you guys. I'm sure that they took care of that while we were over here. But I mean, I was here, so like, don't look at me. What did I do?
Let's head back and see if they have some lodging for us. I would like to
Okay.
cleaned up and at least rest a little bit.
Okay, so you've joined them in the hatchery now?
Well, basically this happens as they make their way out. So whenever they
We haven't made our way out. Well, I guess after a moment, Lucy would be like, "Okay, Shelly, are you done? We might need to regroup with see what Skelly's up to."
Yeah, I mean, once the others obviously seemed like they were bored out of their minds, and Lucy looked like she was probably about to backhand Zara, I'd probably be like, "All right, I think that's enough. You know, you can never really have enough." But
She would never strike me. She's a paladin.
I mean, if I catch you stealing, I might have a reason to strike you.
Keyword catch.
She's a paladin, not a pacifist.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Shelly, as you turn around to walk away from the cage, you hear what sounds like a metal gate sort of like a hinge sort of rubbing, and two of the hatchlings kind of like push their way out and are looking riled up. The one that you were petting and the one that was kind of wrestling with it, they stayed chilled out, but two of them are looking real pissed, and they come out and one of them kind of like lunges at the back of your shell.
I will pretty
Loris,
much.
do something.
I'm gonna cast a minor illusion and make it look like a rabbit or something that's hopping around and then goes back into the cage, like to try to lure them back in,
Okay.
like bait.
Let's see. Their wisdom is pretty low. What's your spell DC?
12. No, 13.
13. Okay.
I have 2, so I always have to check and make sure. But yeah, and now I can actually do minor illusion as a cantrip with both sound and sight. So I'll make it even sound like the little soft hoppy noises and stuff. So
Okay. So the one that lunged at your back just caught shell. The claws didn't really get any purchase on you. They just kind of like dinked off the back. One of them does go lunge for the rabbit and does lunge back inside. But the other one's still kind of fixated on you. What's everybody else doing?
I'm just watching.
Lucy just went like, "Loris, do something." Like, you're a druid. You're supposed to be able to like tell them to like behave or something, right?
Loris is just kind of like, I mean, technically it's the rangers. We're like, I don't want to like, and she's looking at the attendants like, do you guys want to do a job thing? And the attendants are like, we put them in and then they stay. We don't like. There's a lot of finger pointing at who should be trying to do what in this situation.
Meanwhile, Shelly, to avoid having their face eaten, will probably be like, "Hey, little guy, come on! It's time to get back in the pen. Go get some juicy rabbit. It'll be all right." And kind of try to shoo him back in, knowing full well she's probably gonna get snapped at.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna make another attempt to get a nibble out of you. Oh geez. It manages to crit.
You never want to hear "oh geez."
Yeah, it's a natural 20, so it gets a good like lunge at you. It gets a good bite into your shoulder. You're gonna take 11 damage off that.
Ooh, all right.
As soon as the wyvern actually physically harms Shelly, Czar's bow's gonna come off his shoulder. He has an arrow nock, and he's gonna be aiming to fire at it.
Whoa, hang on. He doesn't know any better.
Lucy's gonna get her shield out and be like, "Okay, this isn't funny. One of y'all do something, or I'm knocking it out."
So, at this point, because it's just taken half my hit points off, Shelly's eyes kind of go dark, and one of their tattoos starts to glow a little bit, and I'm gonna cast Cause Fear. on the one that's outside to try to scare it back into the thing.
Okay.
So it's a wisdom save, or it becomes frightened of me.
Oh.
And basically, it says you awaken the sense of mortality in the creature. So basically, I'm going to make it think that if it bites me again, it's going to be poisoned.
Okay. It absolutely bombed that roll, so it is scared tremendously so of you, and is just kind of like, oh god, what did I just bite? What did I do? Oh no, oh no. The ones in the cage are now kind of like fighting amongst themselves over the illusionary rabbit. They're they keep like throwing tail swipes at it and bites and claws, and nobody's getting anywhere with it. And now they're starting to fight with each other a bit because they're like, "You idiot, you missed it. No, you missed it." They're sort of like bickering amongst themselves. Um,
Oh boy.
but the one that bit you is now kind of like backpedaling away. Let's see if it goes back into the cage or if it just sort of backpedals into the corner. Okay, so it does backpedal back into the cage area. And the attendants are just like, shut the gate, shut the gate!
So I'll shut the gate and then drop the effect so that it's not freaking out anymore.
I'll lower and unlock my longbow.
Lucy's gonna walk toward Shelly with her shield still attached to her arm. Are you alright?
Yeah, I'll be fine. It's no big deal. You know, it happened. So,
What happened? They were like totally fine, and then two of them opened the cage somehow. She's gonna look at Loris and the attendants like bewildered, like what? How?
And everybody's just like, Loris is like, I walked in here with you guys, everything was fine. The attendants are like, they've been fine all afternoon. Like, we've just been, cleaning up and things. Like, they've just been sitting there. Like, they were just like,
So they've been fine all afternoon. We enter. Shelly gets near, and then somehow there's no, yeah, fun coincidences. Let's just go back to.
and the
Shelly.
attendant's like, well, you were messing with them. You had your hand thingy in the cage, right? Maybe you just hit one of them the wrong way.
That doesn't. That.
no,
Whatever.
I was playing with little Pedro over here. It wasn't these guys. But I mean, it's fine. I'm sure it's all just, sometimes they get a little, antsy or whatever. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. I do, however, Loris is being really cagey and weird about everything. So I kind of want to roll an insight check just to make sure that, it's not so much she cast something behind our backs to rile them up or something, just to make sure. Even though I don't really have much. Hey, I said push. No, why isn't it working? Watch it pop up 3 times. Here, I'll just roll it manually.
It worked the first time.
Woo, 16.
Okay.
It's asking me whether I want it to be at advantage or not. That's why. I forgot I did that.
So off of a 16, Loris, like, she's being very cagey, but it's more out of, like, confusion and concern than anything else. That this isn't her neck of the woods. She doesn't usually deal with the wyverns, but the concern of a keeper just got attacked by an animal in their city. Oh crap. Like, it's that kind of a nervousness more so than anything else.
Not a guilty nervous.
No, she's just as confused about how they got out of the cage as you seem to be. Like, it's just kind of like, we were here and everything was fine, and then suddenly it wasn't fine, and I don't know.
Okay. I'm sure it's all fine. I mean, it's no big deal. I'll just take care of it. I have plenty of jellyfish goo.
Zard's gonna look over toward the attendants and be like, So is it normal practice for you to leave your animal cages unlocked?
Oh yeah, of course, all the time. What are you nuts? They're wyvern hatchlings. They could have killed us if you guys hadn't been here. We don't we don't even touch the cage.
Who touched the cage?
Yes, that's very interesting. Who would have had access to touch the cage?
I mean, most of us really. All of the attendants come and go. As part of our normal duties, and any of the rangers can come in. They're not. They're supposed to keep their distance from the hatchlings, lest they accidentally, bond with the wrong ranger. But
More,
they're
more
allowed
spec-
in here. They have run of the place. That's their privilege as being wyvern riders. That's what they're here for.
more specifically, who has been here today while you've been here other than us?
Just the three of us. A couple people on the morning shift might have been in here doing some general assessments and things on the hatchlings, but they're responsible. They wouldn't have gone in the cage. They just sort of do observational notes and things like the.
Well, then by reasonable deduction, if you're saying they wouldn't do it, that means one of you three did it.
Right, but we already said that we didn't do it because that would be stupid. We would we'd be at risk of killing ourselves if we left the cage open.
So I know druids are, renowned for awakening animals and all of this. Do one of you ranger types have the ability to awaken a cage? Because that's the only way it would open itself.
And they're just kind of incredulous, like awaken a cage. Come on now, let's like this.
Well,
It was
you're
clearly
telling me no one done it.
Well, no one would do it on purpose. I mean, maybe somebody like bumped the clasp or the hasp on the latch or something. Who would leave a cage open on purpose?
As this is going on, Lucy's just gonna tap on Zar's shoulder and like.
Yeah, I'm gonna
start
look at
yelling out.
Lucy. I'm gonna look at Lucy and just sigh, and then look over toward the druid and say, coming from me, this says a lot, but this is the shadiest city full of people I've ever seen in my life.
Ooh, that's rough.
Nothing is any individual's fault. It's always someone else, and everyone talks in circles like they're on a merry-go-round drunk.
And Lawrence is like, I don't know what to tell you. It's this kind of anomaly is just so far outside of what would normally happen in this kingdom that none of us know how to explain it. It's bizarre coincidence or of some sort. Like we're out of our element here. This is not like
Keepers have been attacked in all of the kingdoms, and now a keeper has been attacked in your kingdom.
almost. Okay. I was about to say not every kingdom, but that's technically
Yes,
not
you
true
can
anymore.
you can
I'm
drop
sorry.
that from your brochure now.
Yeah.
And you say this is so far out of the normal that it's some kind of weird. I don't believe in coincidences, especially not one like this. Just get us out of here.
Lucy
You
will
should
keep
probably
people
make sure
out.
that that's locked before we go, though.
Yeah, one of the attendants will kind of like very kind of shuffly over to the gate and fiddle with the lasp and be like, "Yep, definitely locked," and then backpedal real fast.
Let's
They're
get
just
out
big
of here.
babies. It's fine.
That's fine. So are all of the adults around here, apparently. And I'm just gonna walk out the door. I'm getting aggravated with these people.
You make them nervous. You make everybody nervous everywhere you go.
Totally. Lucy will lead Shelly out.
Okay,
And be
so
like,
you
"Are you all right?"
kind of work your way back down the hall with and meet back up with Kinley, who's had her little chit chat with the Rangers in private.
At that point, spiel, getting our room.
Yeah, I am going to look at the Rangers on the way out, though, and go, by the way, one of those little wyvern just attacked my keeper friend here and bit her. So you should probably work on who was absent-minded enough to leave the cage door open before we have to come in and put them all down as I walk out the door.
And the Rangers just kind of call after you, like, well, what were you doing in the cage in the first place?
We weren't in the cage. They got out of the cage, and on that really sharp tone, that's unlike Lucy.
And I am gonna turn. I am gonna flip because, like I said, Zara's getting really aggravated with these people. And as he does, sort of flips his cape over his shoulder, showing the keeper badge. Because I don't think we told those Rangers we were keepers. She just said they were we were guests of the council.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna look at him, and I'm going to say, "My business is not yours. You had better hope that I don't look further into your business. Do you understand?"
And he just kind of sits back down quietly, like,
Good day.
Shelly's going to go last, leaving, and be like, I'm sure that, everything's going to be fine. I'm fine. And then walk out with, blood gushing down their leg and, limping a little bit. But they're fine. It's fine.
As Lucy sees that, she's gonna, tap you on the shell and cast Cure Wounds on you. Does that work? Did that work? It does.
Yep.
Yeah, you heal 8 points. 8 points back
thanks.
up on you.
No jellyfish goo or anything, huh?
I got the Light of Lathander. That's much better.
Huh.
okay,
Alright,
so
thanks.
you're heading out from the roost. You're not gonna go explore the part with the adults wyverns in it.
No.
That's enough
We're
Wyvern
having
for
to
today.
Get us to our rooms. They're supposed to be providing us.
Okay, just making sure. Don't want to risk getting too close to the big ones after the little ones, huh?
Zara will
like
murder
turtle
them
soup.
all.
Lucy will probably bet him.
They're fans of turtle soup, apparently.
Yeah, I guess.
So, Loris will lead you back to the council chambers, just for a quick check-in to see where they put you up. They did go ahead and book you a set of rooms at the Elias Inn here in Rhodis. It was what was available,
Damn
and they thought it would be comforting to stay somewhere familiar. Everybody stayed in Elias Inn at least once. So they set you up with rooms, and that inn is looking at the map here. It's over here, so north of the island of Eternal Night. And they just set you up with a room apiece. They even pay for breakfast for the morning as sort of like a make amends for the fact that you got a chunk bit out of you there, Shelly. And they're just kind of like, we're just, hope that this unfortunate isolated incident does not wrongfully color your opinion of our fine city. And then they'll kind of like backpedal out of the hotel and leave you for the night.
That's super shady. Sorry.
So unless there's anything in the inn itself that you guys want to do, chit chat amongst yourselves, plotting, planning, things like that, we'll, go to bed, wake up the next morning, breakfast, and then you're back out on the city.
Lucy will probably troll.
It's decently busy. It's the capital city. So it's maybe like half to 3/4 full. So there's maybe like 30, 40 people in the inn total. A few people are down in the dining common spaces and stuff like that, but for the most part, people are up in their rooms, private spaces.
Is there a decent sized table to get away from everyone else?
Yeah, you could, for the couple of you could saddle up to a table off in the corner a little bit.
Right.
Any? Sorry, go ahead.
So I will grab the darkest, furthest corner table I can find.
Lucy will make sure she's back to the crowds.
Of course. I make sure I face the crowds.
Well, because her eyes glow, she doesn't want to grab attention.
Zar is going to make his way through the crowd toward the table, bumping into people along the way.
I mean, I'm a giant talking turtle, so I'm pretty sure people are going to be looking anyway.
Not worried about looks. I'm worried more
They're
about
not going to be worried about your eyes.
And Zar is definitely looking for an easy mark to make himself a few coins.
So you're bumping into people.
Yes.
I gotcha.
Like, oops, sorry.
So you can throw a random sleight of hand check in there and see if you come away with anything. Yeah,
An 18.
an 18, you come away with a couple of silver, maybe just 5 or 6 that you slipped out of somebody's pocket.
Ow.
That it's not like a luxury inn. It's a fairly middle class catering establishment. So the people aren't rolling deep pockets. You can bump another person or two and see if you come away with anything better. But
Maybe on my way out. But I am going to make it a point to avoid all of the creepy simulacrums running around that are in all the inns.
We are staying at a Holiday Inn Express.
yep, they'll leave the lanterns on for you. So yeah, so that's you've got your little side table. One of the employees will come by to see if you want, supper or like a late night snack, drinks, anything of that sort. But they'll largely leave you alone as you seem like you want to be.
Lucy will eat since she hasn't eaten much today. So
Get some food.
Zar will eat again.
Get some food and then what's food served?
So did you talk to the Rangers at all again?
I did, and I learned a little more about interesting, and air quotes, construction project.
So what is it?
Well, from what he described, I'm doing this in low tones. Everyone's able to hear. From what he described, it's definitely not a canal. From what he described,
Really?
it is much more like a dig site, like they're looking for something.
Did you find out where?
Yeah, well, they
Do we
already
know
told us
where?
it was the edge of town.
Okay.
So are we gonna head there first thing in the
It's
morning
definitely something
tomorrow?
we
I
should
assume?
investigate. When we want to do it, that's a whole different story. Check it out at night. Check it out during the day.
I mean,
Zar's eyes. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that it seems like the choice is either we go look or we go look with an escort who's going to try to not let us look very much.
Yeah, I'd say if we go, we do not want the escort with us.
Then that probably means we should do it tonight.
At night? We should probably rest. You got attacked by a wyvern.
Oh, I'm fine. It's fine. No, but I mean, because what we could do is we could go poke around, right? And I'm sure that our little guy over here is pretty adept at poking around in places he's not supposed to be. And if there is something shady going around, maybe we can catch them in a lie or something.
I look at you when you say that our little guy over here with a piece of meat kind of hanging out of my mouth where I'm eating. I'm like, hey, not that little. She's littler. I point at Lucy.
Lucy rolls her
I
eyes.
basically described what he described to me as they were digging, it's more like they're digging large pits to find
I-
something with ramps going into them.
Maybe they're
Like an
looking-
archaeological dig
Yeah,
site.
it's like they're looking for something.
Huh.
Maybe they're looking for the entrance to that mystical, magical armory that is renowned in legend.
Hey, so, no, I probably shouldn't talk about it. What'd you guys think about that angel chick?
Embryo?
Yeah.
I look at them because this is the first time we've talked about this out loud, and I just sort of gauge them as they just start talking about it like it actually happened.
Weird.
I mean, we haven't. Lucy's gonna notice that glare and be like, we haven't really had time to talk about that.
I'm not glaring. I'm just watching you guys talk about it and not saying anything.
Okay, that as with that, the way he watches them, then Lucy's gonna be like, it meant something, but I know not yet.
But I mean, like, just do you think that you can trust her?
Yes,
You think she's like a good person?
I believe so.
What are you three talking about?
Psh,
The
you were
Eat a piece
there,
of bread.
you know.
The
Just
dream
give
we
you a
were-
look like what?
The dream we were all in, the trial of the six.
I don't say anything. I just stare at her like, what?
Never mind.
All right, I
Anyways,
just
to
wanted
bring
to
it-
know what you thought about her, so no reason.
I believe there is something about her, but she's definitely on the good side, but I know not yet. But there's something about her. But she's gonna shake. Lucy's gonna shake her head and like, I don't think we should go poke around that dig site at night.
Well, I mean, maybe like we can just go for a walk, right? And we can just be in the area.
How about first thing in the morning tomorrow?
But then, you know, the council lady's gonna be with us. I mean, you don't have to go in. I'm not gonna go in. We can just walk around and get the lay of the land and stuff. And maybe if, you know, Czar just happens to fucking disappear in the middle of it, we just won't notice.
While those two are talking, I'm going to look over at Kinley and kind of give her the look like, so we doing this when they go to bed?
You know?
I roll my eyes.
Maybe we can like get a drink to go and we can go find a park bench to chill on, and you know, Czar and Meryl Cheap here can go down and take a look around.
I am exhausted.
My parrot,
She's
Meryl
talking
Cheap.
about the bird.
Why don't you send your bird to investigate?
I do feel like a good midnight walk.
Can check out the stars.
See who's stupid enough to be drunk on the streets at night, and I kind of grin as you see me slip some silver into my pouch.
Listen, I'm not saying Shelly's an enabler, but
No.
they're definitely not a
Breaking
buzzkill
laws.
either.
No breaking any laws. Lucy's just gonna chime
I am the law. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
No, we're just gonna go have a picnic with some tea. It'll be great. And maybe you can show me like how you do your spell casting without any jellyfish.
I'm a paladin. It just happened.
I'm a wizard.
Lucy's just gonna be like,
Just a wizard.
Lucy's sitting here like, I don't think I can explain this to her.
That's fair.
I can teach you how to cut things with a rapier.
I have a spear. I'm pretty good
Do
with it.
you?
I do.
Have you ever been shark hunting?
I almost drowned once.
How is that possible? You're a turtle.
Yeah, I was at sea and there was a storm, and then I think I kind of died a little. But I got better.
Oh, that's
So it's cool.
unfortunate.
I got better.
Damn it, Kim, I almost made it.
I'm sorry the way you said it, but I got better.
No, that's very fortunate. So,
Oh god.
I think I'm going to go for a stroll. If anyone happens to want to go stroll with me, you're more than welcome.
I'll go with.
Wes will all go. If he happens
I'll
to
walk.
lose us along the way, it could happen.
Well,
Yeah.
you all do have some trouble keeping up as I pull my hood up of my cloak of elven kind.
I'm gonna have Meryl like hop over and sit on his shoulder and.
I feed Meryl a little piece of bread crumb.
She like.
Alright, so I guess we're going on the midnight stroll.
Yes, we are.
Anyway.
Okay, so are you gonna wait for like proper night, everything kind of calms down?
Oh, yeah,
The inn is all settled into bed. The hotel staff has mostly gone to sleep. There's just one person manning the desk.
Literally a midnight stroll.
Yeah. So, move about the city a little bit here. You know that the construction site is walled off in the southeast corner of the city. You make your way past the huge tree on the center island, which you don't get the full effect of the island of eternal night because it's already night. But you're looking up and you can see just the gray, or like you can see where there's like stars, and then the stars just stop abruptly where the canopy starts. So you can at least get that effect as you go by. But for the most part, it's just nighttime. The city's relatively chill. There's a few nocturnal animals out and about, and a few night owl citizens, actual people, still kind of moseying through town. But for the most part, it's dead around town. You can make your way through relatively calmly and without too much. Let's see.
Shelley plays the tourist, doing and gnawing at all the sights and everything, and just generally looking around like everything's exciting.
Okay, so you pass through that island, pass a bunch of just different market spaces, shops, apothecaries, bookstores, you name it, they've got it scattered throughout the town. Work your way around the island with the great tree on it. There's like big roots passing over your head, and like underneath that you're walking over like overpass style, and then you come up to, you can either enter over this bridge here, or you can come down and enter over here. Further to the south in the main sort of entrance to the main main street of the city, essentially. There's two sort of main ways in.
Where on the map is our destination?
Right here is just sort of like in that general area. You're not really sure what's behind the walls aside from the description of the big pits. But you're just looking to get into the southeast section of the city.
Do you guys want me to have Meryl take a look before we move?
That'd be a good idea.
Scouting might be a good idea. Some aerial reconnaissance.
So I can go ahead and let her know that that's what I wanted to do. As long as she's within 100 feet of me, I can communicate with her telepathically, and I will look through her eyes and just put my hand on Kinley's shoulder. Just to be like, I won't be able to see, so don't run me into a tree, okay? Okay. And I'll have her do the thing.
What's the distance on being able to look through her eyes? Is it just at 100 feet, or is it further?
I believe that it's 100 feet. She can go farther than that. It's just that I would have to wait for her to come back to tell me what she saw.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it is I'm pretty sure it's 100 that I can see.
Okay. So looking through within the first 100 feet or so over the let's see. All right, I lost my spot here.
Mostly I want to see if it's guarded.
Yeah. So if you go right up to the wall here on this bridge, within 100 feet of that general area, you don't really see a whole lot. There's maybe 2 or 3 lanterns, lights that you can spot kind of strolling about just to make sure that nobody's where they're not supposed to be. But for the most part, it's the area's done for the night. They're not running like a third shift dig. It's just daytime operation only.
And I will let them know that.
Um,
No guards.
There's a couple. There's what the lantern lights are. Just a couple people on patrol, but it's not heavily guarded. It's not like a defended area. It's just a couple people making sure that there's no kids spraying graffiti on the walls. Kind of a security patrol, not a heavy duty thing.
Zara's gonna find a shadow. 18 for stealth.
Okay.
He gets advantage because of the cloak.
Yeah.
So he just sort of slips into a shadow, and he's gonna try and wait for the patrols and stuff to pass, and find an opportunity to slip through.
Okay. Give me either athletics or acrobatics to get over the wall, because it's a decent height of a wood panel wall.
Oh, fuck me!
So you manage to get up and over, but you don't stick the landing. You make a bit of a oof as you
Oh,
thud on the ground a little bit. It's just kind of it's just like an oof bit of wind knocked out of you. You're not sure how loud of a thud you may have made. You do have the cloak on, which kind of helps quiet things down a little bit, but you're gonna want to get up and get moving.
yeah, I will get up and quickly try and find me a purchase to rehide. Because I'm sure my stealth wouldn't cover me falling off of a wall.
Any luck the guards aren't nearby right now.
Hey, one better.
So you're confident that you're obscured in the darkness. What are you doing for light or to be able to see?
I didn't think that far ahead.
Okay, so you're going to be working your way through the darkness mostly by moon and starlight.
That's fine.
Which let's see what phase the moon is in. It's not a new moon, but it's like a crescent, so you don't really get a lot of benefit from natural light. So you're looking at a construction site allegedly full of giant holes, and you're navigating it in the dark.
Awesome.
As he climbed over, I wanted to tell Meryl to stick with him, and if he gives the signal to fly back and let us know he's in trouble.
Just make the sound of a dying giraffe. Okay.
All right. So, I guess I would try and stick to the road as best as possible and see if I can find any buildings or any type of. I mean, is anything in this whole area illuminated at all?
All of the buildings are vacated. They moved everybody out of the area when they kicked off this project in full force. So there's no lights in any of the windows on the buildings. Everything's basically abandoned. You can see there's residential, so there's some houses, there's some shops. It was, a standard lived-in part of town. It wasn't like a heavy business area or anything of that sort. People lived here. So it's just a lot of houses that just look like they upped and moved in a hurry.
No, the guards, they were patrolling outside. Were they patrolling inside as well?
The guards are only patrolling inside the area. They're walking around to
Oh,
make sure that
inside.
Yeah, there's just like I said, there's like a handful of them, 3 or 4 maybe, to cover the whole section of walled off area, and they're walking around inside to make sure that nobody's um where they're not supposed to be. They're not
Okay.
guarding the walls themselves.
So what I'll do, and I'm guessing the guards like have torches or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I will basically stalk behind one of the guards as they make their rounds, just staying out of light and into the shadows, just enough so I can kind of like follow them around and get a look at everything around the area.
Okay. Um, let's see how that goes.
Nat 20 on perception.
Okay. So far so good. You know, you're skulking behind one of the guards out on patrol, being very sneaky, very quiet. You're doing the best you can to soak in detail off of whatever their torchlight happens to strike. It's mostly town and things of that sort. There's some some walkways abruptly stop where holes of different sizes start. There's some that are, you know, just 6, 8 feet across, a few that are 10, 15 feet across, and then you finally come across what looks like it might be the main dig, the main hole. It's massive. The guard takes this big long walk around. It's a couple 100 feet across, and the torchlight doesn't even reach the bottom. You know, every once in a while he'll kind of look over the edge and stick the torch deeper down to try to get a glance, but even then the torchlight's not really hitting the bottom. It's just sort of a looking for any sort of sudden movement in the shadows and things like that. But
All right,
this is a big old hole.
I'll stay there until he's out of sight, making his way back into the city, and I don't see like his torchlight and stuff anymore. I'm just gonna kind of stand there and wait.
Okay. You can get away with that fine. He just keeps staying on patrol, you know, occasionally looking in the hole, looking off into alleys between buildings, and you know, every once in a while he'll walk up to a door and make sure that it's still locked and that windows aren't open on some of the buildings and stuff, just looking for like squatters, essentially, that kind of a thing.
Okay.
And wanders off and continues their patrol, no big deal. So
right.
you're gonna work your way back to the group.
No.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought you made it sound like.
No, I'm gonna stay there at that big hole, and I am going to, after his torchlight is out of view,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna light a torch and toss it in the hole. See what I can see as it goes down and maybe hits bottom. What I can see in the hole.
Okay. You toss a torch in. Make a perception check at disadvantage.
Oh God, my perception's already terrible. 6.
So you don't pick up much. You from the drop of the torch and it hitting the bottom, it looks like this is probably a good 40, 50 feet deep, which,
Okay.
like, unless they're moving sailing ships through, that's a little deep for a canal.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you're not spotting anything other than dirt within the view of the torchlight. It's a hole.
All right. I'll make my way back to the group then.
Okay. Yeah, you can manage that, no problem. There's only the handful of guards, so it takes them a long time to make a full circuit of the area. You can get back to the wall where you climbed in just fine, but you're gonna have to make another check to get over it again.
That's much better.
That's much better. So you hop over or hop up, pull yourself up and over, and you do a little like front flip, stick the landing. Ta-da!
Superman landing.
Yeah, and the group's waiting for you.
So just to clarify, these are vertical pits, not like horizontal like you would expect if they were actually making something functional for travel. They're digging down, not out.
they're
Or they're far too large for a.
it's a bit of both. Like
It
they
looks
they're
like an excavation.
they're digging a lot deeper than you would expect for the kind of canal boats and things that you've seen, but they are also digging out substantially in a side to side way. Like they're making big, wide holes that also happen to just be a lot deeper than you would expect it. in
Now
certain
these
places.
holes. Sorry, go ahead.
Basically, they're digging. If you want to visualize everything, they're probably digging like a Panama Canal, but there's no oceans to worry about.
Well, that and having seen the holes, are they all like going in the same direction? Like they're going to line up and form a canal, or are they just like in random directions and
Oh
random?
no, it looked like you know the like when in Caddyshack when they're trying to dig up when they're trying
The
to dig up the
gopher?
gopher and there's just holes scattered all over the place.
Okay.
It's like
Okay.
that. Like it looks like they're just randomly picking spots and digging down some, and then every once in a while they'll dig it out wider. And sometimes the hole is just big enough for a person, and sometimes it'll be like 10, 15 feet across, 20 feet across, and then there's the one like massive pit where they really dug it out wide, like they were stretching out to find something.
All right. So once I'm on the other side of the wall, I want to sneak up behind Lucy.
Lucy, you can make a perception check at disadvantage to see if you notice him attempting to be like right behind you in a ghosty fashion.
Okay, perception. Where is perception? At disadvantage. Okay. Roll it twice.
It's an 8.
Yeah.
That's an eight.
So
Oh, no.
unfortunately, as like you don't even hear like a woof of air as he whoosh just sort of appears mysteriously behind you.
I'm
Well,
gonna
I
kind
don't
of
see
like
him.
lean up to the back of her head, and I'm gonna say, "You should really be careful. Somebody could just sneak up behind you and rob you."
Out of surprise, she's gonna run back and like kind of smack him.
I will attempt to dodge.
Okay. You can make an attack roll.
I just roll a d20, right?
Yeah.
I don't add no. Since it's just me swatting, it's just.
Yeah. D20
my
plus your strength. Yeah.
What's my strength? It's just a 1.
Does not hit.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
It's
so
just like.
And he
Stop.
ducks it. So
Sir.
And number 2, if you're going to smack someone, actually hit them.
Oh, shut it. What did you find?
I didn't find canals, if that's what you're wondering.
So they lied on that point?
It looks like someone's looking for something, and they're digging everywhere to try and find it.
Yeah, looking for something, digging a lot of holes to find it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's not very druidic, is it? To be digging holes just like that?
I don't know. Our druid's dead, and I grin.
He's not.
Could say,
Doesn't line up with the whole respectful of nature that Lucy's heard so far. Then.
I would suggest first we go get some sleep, and first light in the morning we go fetch our little druid guide and take a look in the daylight. I couldn't see much. There was this one huge pit. I threw a torch down it, but even as the torch hit the bottom, I couldn't see what was down.
Oh,
So that's gotta be pretty deep.
so like next time I should give you a coin that has light cast on it, and then you can like stick it in your pocket when you don't want anybody to see it, and you can take it out and be like,
I
I
can
just
cast light
look
too.
at Shelly like that would have been useful like an hour ago, but I'm not
I
going to say
know.
anything.
I know, right? Like,
Oh, you can cast light too? Oh yeah, right. You casted it in that one.
that's like that one time when like I was telling you that we need to go clean off the jellyfish goo, and you were like, why can't you just use the magic? And I was like, whoa.
I'm gonna shake my head. I'm gonna pull down my hood of my cloak, and I'm just gonna start walking back toward our inn.
Lucy will follow, shaking her head, smiling.
Okay. You make your way back across the city through the darkness and stillness of the night. You Things seem relatively calm and cool. Kinley and Shelly, you have the highest passive perception, so make perception checks for me.
Oh boy. Come on. Ooh.
Ooh. So Kinley, you notice just sort of out of the corner of your eye that it looks like there's someone else out on the street still. Not in a menacing sort of way or anything, but they're just sort of noticeably in a city this big. The one person you've spotted so far on your way back just happens to be in this part of town, kind of a thing. Like, what are the odds of bumping into somebody? But they're not close; they're at a distance and just sort of off on their own.
I kind of tap people and quietly spread the word.
You
And
point them
then
out.
Nonchalantly, yeah.
I would put my hood up and I would go to follow them.
Uh,
And I'll have Meryl go fly behind them and just kind of follow them.
seeing as Zara is heading off, Lucy's gonna kind of.
I'll see you back at the inn.
At the end? Oh, okay. She's gonna nod and just like head off then.
Because Zara's thinking either they're up to something shady like we are this time of night, or they're stupid and he's going to make some money.
okay. So you follow off. You're keeping your distance, I assume.
Keeping them in sight and a little bit of light that I have, but yeah, stealthily following them.
Okay.
Roll stealth.
Yeah, roll stealth for it, and then.
Oh!
Wow.
I am the darkness that flaps in the night.
Yeah, that is super stealthy.
You are the dark.
I'm like 1 inch away from them, and they can't feel me breathing on their neck.
Mhm.
You're doing the braids in their hair. So follow them.
Yeah. Double natural 20s. That's our very first 2020 of 2020. Probably the only 2020 of 2020, with how you guys tend to roll. And
Hey.
Damn.
I'm just saying, we don't have the best track record as a group here so far. So as far as you're concerned, you're super dark. You're in the shadows. You're one with the night, and strolling along just fine and dandy. Yeah, they don't have a clue that you're back there, and you're moving around the island here. The rest of the party's gone off towards the inn, and you're following along. And then go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Yes.
It's so dark, you can't see anything.
Mm-hmm. So somewhere along what you're pretty sure is the north end of the island, the island of Eternal Night there, you lose the person that you're following. Like, you turn a quarter and they're just not there anymore.
Is there anything like around this area?
There's a few, just
Sure.
random natural rock formations and things like that. There's one sort of rundown, dilapidated sort of shrine-looking structure, but that's it. Like, it's just open space. You're not really sure how they managed to disappear.
Oh, I would definitely look around the area. People just don't disappear unless you're me and rolling that 20 twice. So yeah, I guess I would kind of go and look at the rocks and stuff like that, and try and see if there's like maybe a like something they could slip in between, behind. I would kind of peek through the windows of the. Oh wait, you said a shrine. I'd go take a look at the shrine and see if maybe, there's like something behind it. But basically, just kind of like try and figure out where this person.
Okay. Make an investigation check, but at disadvantage because it's the middle of the night and you don't really have a lot of light to play with.
Come on, double nat 20s again. A 9.
Okay.
Side.
So you don't really pick up anything significant. The shrine, in what you can make out in the darkness, looks like it's in a state of disrepair. Like whatever religious practice put it here has sort of lost its following. But beyond that, you don't really pick up in anything significant in the middle of the night like this.
All right. Revisit tomorrow. I'll head back to the inn.
Okay. You make your way back to the inn. Everyone else is already back there. If you want to have a little powwow, you can. Otherwise, you go to bed. You wake up the next morning, grab breakfast, and go from there.
Yeah, I would just tell them that whoever it was shook me. They shook their tail.
Huh.
Guess they were better than you were.
Either that, or they've got a way of disappearing in the middle of the street.
Invisibility, perhaps? Who knows?
Yeah, I would let them know that the person was there and then they weren't. Like, this wasn't a normal, just someone, me losing the tail. They just poofed.
Huh, curious.
And then I'll go to bed. I'm tired.
Do you think that maybe they were keeping an eye on us?
Hopefully not.
But the question is, were they sent by druids or by the people who are murdering us?
Perhaps a bit
I'm
of
going to
both.
say probably no to both of them, because if they were following us, they would have continued following us instead of going off in their own way.
While this is happening, Lucy's gonna go to bed, but before bed, she's gonna make a little prayer for guidance.
Say a little prayer for you.
And then go to bed. If anything happens, that's great. If not, bedtime.
I'll go to bed, trap my door.
Gonna copy another spell over to my new spell book.
Okay. Let's see here.
Why am I not using luck?
I don't know, but you haven't been.
F me.
Dude!
You just need to put a post-it on your screen that says, use luck, you dumbass.
Yeah.
I know.
I had
But
to do that with Sense Evil as Paladin.
we'll go ahead and take 10 minutes here. Just quick break. Everybody grab a breather. Since you went to bed, you wake up the next morning. It's a good place to just make a quick break.
right.
We'll pick back up with you having breakfast and go from there.
Sounds good.
See everybody in 10 minutes.
Yay! Okay. Nom. Grab a snack. Yay. Back in action. David found his picture.
Okay.
I just noticed you found the picture.
Yeah. Yay.
Good.
We are. Okay, so we are picking up with the next morning after your little night stroll exploration adventure. You wake up, come downstairs, grab yourselves a bit of breakfast. Loris is there waiting for you. She looks a little sleepy, like she may have woken up extra early to try to make sure that she absolutely certain that she was going to be there when you came down the stairs. So she's a little like yawning a bit and like, yeah, so you guys need more. Like she kind of trails off a little bit. Like, city, explore the city. Yes. Like, okay, where do you want to go today? What do we want to do?
Lucy's just gonna glance at Zara whenever he comes in. Like, how about you tell her? Or whoever wants to, but she's gonna glance at Zara.
Czar's going to say, well, first thing we need to do is eat some breakfast.
The server will come over. Bacon and eggs, okay? Toast.
Yeah.
Fresh, yeah.
Of course.
Milk, tea, water, ale, vodka. Who? What?
I'll take some tea.
Milk.
Okay. Wanders off. A few minutes go by. Time to cook the food and everything like that. Bring over breakfast. You can chit chat amongst yourselves or with Loris in the meantime. But then food comes and you kind of scarf it down and you're ready to go when you're ready.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm good.
So where are we going? We can explore the island of Eternal Night. You might want to give it a little bit more time so the sun gets fully up for the full effect, but it's really an amazing thing to see in the middle of the day. There's the temple, the nature clerics built to north of here. It's a whole. There's like walking trails and they've got what's the word they use? Saunas, the steamy rooms, and like mud bath things, and it's a whole like I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm gonna look at her while she's doing this, and I'm gonna be smiling and nodding like I'm really excited, and then I'm gonna say, I want to see the giant holes you're digging in the ground.
The holes?
The next side. Or the canals.
Oh, the public works project. You're still on about that? I told you it's a whole like where there's buildings getting knocked down. I think there's some of that scheduled for this week. I don't know exactly when. I'd have to check. So we don't want to be running around
And I don't know if you knew this or not, but my family are famed architects back on the mainland, so I am extremely interested in the architecture of your kingdom and your canals.
Well, we have canals all over. I'd be happy to show.
But those aren't built yet.
I
want under construction. We would love to see how the work is being done.
Yes, I would love to send word home and tell my family of the new and ingenious ways that I'm sure that you are employing your animal people in helping with digging and building. I've never seen this type of architecture before, so I'm extremely interested. Oh, look, I'm done with my breakfast. Let's go.
Go for a deception check on the architect bit.
Yeah.
Because
Loris
is just like, I could send for the city planner. They could come and give you a presentation. I'm sure they would love to collaborate with a fellow architect such as yourself.
That's the 22.
Off a strong deception roll. They're like, well, if you have an architect background, our city planning commission, I'm sure they would love to give you a whole presentation on the project. We can use minor illusion to do like a PowerPoint kind of thing. With
That's all wonderful, but I want to see it for myself. Now, you can either come along or I'll just barge right on in, because I can do that.
I mean, yeah, technically you can do that. I don't recommend barging into an active construction site, but
as I said, I'm used to being all around all this construction. I'll be fine, and I'm just going to start making my way toward the door without her.
Lucy's gonna get up and follow.
And Loris like scrambles and kind of slides in front of the door, and it's like, we can absolutely go and check. If I would like to let them know that we're coming, they can prep some safety equipment. They can have some like helmets and some of those shiny vest things that they like to wear ready for us.
Out the door I go. I am not
We're very safe. We are ready to go there. We are ready
I gotta-
to be at that. So, you're welcome to join us. You're welcome to wait till we return.
And she's in a scramble to stay ahead of you, and she's like, no, I will come 100%. Just just trying to be a hospitable host to this fine group of individuals. And she's like,
You are so sweet. As I just keep walking.
mm-hmm. And she's doing her best to like keep pace / stay slightly ahead of you, and she's pointing out shops and things that you like. Oh, if you want to do research on the city, that bookshop right there, it's my personal favorite. You can stop in there, and they have a whole fantastic history section that I just highly recommend. We're right here. We could pop in, and like just any shop that she can spot along the way. She's like, snacks for the road. There is a shop. It's a bakery. They have
We're good, thanks.
no, it's like the whole way there. That whole walk across the island, around the great tree, back towards. She's doing everything she can to try to pull you off and distract you, and
Well,
and anything she can think of, like oh my ankle, oh I think I rolled it on a rock.
Just-
If
There's
she
a loose
does that-
cobblestone.
Wait here for us then. We
No,
shall
no, 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 no. If she does that, Lucy is gonna pick her up. She can. She's probably strong enough and offer to carry her. Well, if you sprain your ankle, perhaps I could carry you the way there, and they probably have medics over there, right? It's a construction site.
That's right, and it's so dangerous. They have to have healers there, so that's the best place for us to go.
Okay. Shelly, let me get a perception check from you, please.
12.
Okay. You don't notice anything significant along the way there. Loris is just making a fool of herself, essentially doing everything she can to try to, like, hey, look at me over here. Hey, just a lot of gesticulation and a lot of like rambling and but you don't pick up anything.
You know what I'm most excited about? Is seeing this in the day.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot you can see at nighttime. Almost fell into a hole. But I didn't in the dead of night, but so I'm sure I'll be fine during the day. Don't you think so? And I'll smile over at the druid.
Holy shit, you totally just did that. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
So you drop that nugget, and she doesn't look as panicked as you might expect at the news that you have already been over the fence.
Okay. Does her trying to waylay us stop any, or is she still trying her best to keep us from going there after I drop that nugget? 'Cause that was my whole thing. I was getting annoyed with her.
Oh no, she's still 100% on like I just need to find the right shop or the right landmark, or like there is a hill top right over like, and there's like a small, it's real small. There's just like two or three of them, but there's a monastery up there with a couple of monks, and they're very zen, and like yoga classes, and
Perhaps you should go there after this.
like she'll pitch everything in the city to you at one point or another on this short walk. Like she's just firing things off rapid fire. But you get to the wall. Now there are like active. It's manned essentially. There's guards at the gate since it's now an active construction site during the day. So there's two guys standing there. They're armed, lightly armored, just sort of you know basic security types, just keeping the random public from getting too nosy. And they're just kind of halt. Who goes there? Where do you think you're going? Construction, dangerous. Hello.
Hi, I'm Shelly.
That's adorable.
Imperial inspection. Stand aside.
Well,
Yes,
you're gonna
gotta-
need safety gear. We just have to send somebody to go get some for you. If you
No,
just wanna-
you're gonna open the gate for the keepers now.
But the law requires safety stuff, like, and you just kind of like nervously gesturing at the vest and the boots and like the glass
I'm sure that you
thingies,
guys
and
can probably bring us the stuff we need, right? While we're on our way.
well, I mean, it'll take them a minute to, because some of your sizes are a little. I don't know how we're gonna get it over the shell. No offense.
Oh, I'm fine. My shell will protect me.
Yeah, I'm gonna shrug my cloak off of my left side, and my badge as I kind of like slowly reach my hand down, flirting with the hilt of my rapier.
Okay. I mean, they'll relent and let you through, but they're very, but they're very just sort of like emphasizing, like, it's a safety concern. We want to make sure that everybody is, everybody that comes on the site goes home at the end of the day. Kind of we just want to be like protective, and everyone's trying to drive home feelings of concern more than anything else.
It is quite okay. We will be safe. We know what we're doing. We can handle it ourselves. If you wish to supply some equipment while we are in there, you're welcome to find us while we are inside.
Okay.
We take full responsibility if anything happens to us.
And if any damages are occurred, you can send the bill to Keeper Finnegan in such and such Victoria.
Let's see.
Druid OSHA is intense.
Right?
They are no joke, let me tell you.
Not worse than Union.
I will beat you with a shillelagh and then cure you afterwards, just to make you put on a hard hat.
Yeah, and I'm gonna lean into our druid friend as they're like opening the gates and getting ready to let us in. And I'm just gonna say to her very softly and kind of a whisper, if you don't want somebody to see something, trying to keep them away from it isn't the best way for them not to want to go look. I'm gonna smile and pat her on the shoulder.
Okay, so you pass through the wall and start making your way through, empty buildings and things of that sort. You can hear the sounds of demolition and digging. There's no mechanical equipment, but you can hear earth getting shifted around in large, people casting mold earth and stone shape and things of that sort, like they're excavating. You can see people doing somatic components and verbal components and things, and casting spells, and dirt's moving in big chunks and stuff like that. You notice that there's not as many holes as there were last night. Like, a lot of the smaller holes are gone. A lot of the big holes are now smaller holes, and things are looking much more canal shaped than they were last night.
Of course.
I'm gonna get a headache, but I'm gonna do detect magic.
You can see that. How long does detect magic last for again?
It is 30 feet away, 10 minutes concentration.
Okay. So in that 10 minutes of walking, you can see maybe trace remnants of a lot of the mold earth cantrip being cast. A lot of dirt got moved around in pretty short order. And you can sort of, just from the faint traces of it, you can see the outlines of where there used to be, pot marks of holes and bigger holes that are now small holes, and all. Like, you can see the remnants of them redoing or undoing a lot of the work that they did, because it was done so recently that there's still traces of it sort of lingering in the dirt. You approach like a central office area, and you can see, let's see, there's a few people kind of scattered about. They're all looking very mage-like. They're in shiny vests, and they've got their helmets on, and all the gear that they were expecting you to put on back at the wall. They're all wearing it, and they're looking like wizards in construction gear. Essentially, it's a little
Oh lordy.
it's a bit of an odd sight to see. They've got the staffs and the big beards and all that kind of super stereotypical wizards, but then they're also wearing like a big metal helmet, and they're all crowded around a big table that looks like it's got a model replica of this section of the city on it, and they're just talking away, not really paying any attention to you guys.
What are they saying?
Oh.
Sorry, you said they're not paying attention to us. What are they talking about? Can we pick up any of the conversation?
Make a perception check, unless you want to just walk right up to the table.
The bane of my existence.
Well, try to hear what they're saying.
Yep.
Loose.
So you pick up bits and pieces. They're mostly talking about the scheduled work for the day. That they're looking to clear a few more houses than they originally intended. This one section of canal is going to have to be forked, and they're going to have to take down a city block worth of buildings in order to put the fork in. And it's real unfortunate, but we'll compensate the owners and this, that, and the other thing. And they're just kind of, it's just shop talk for the most part.
Lucy's gonna walk forward and take a look at that table.
Yeah, same.
So you walk up, and
oh yeah, her badges
showing.
Badges out.
So you walk right up to the table, and everyone kind of stops and looks at you like, hi? Why are you on our construction site without all of this? Like, they feel a little foolish being forced to wear it, and they're just like, why are you walking up not in any of it? Like, what?
She's gonna tap her armor. I'm pretty safe, I'm pretty sure.
You can see that there's one person in particular who looks like they're sort of like the job captain foreman type of the dig, and he's just kind of like, so he gestures over to somebody, go and get him some of the stuff out of the the chest,
Oh.
and they run off to go and get you the required equipment. And in the meantime, he's just like, "So why are you here? We're quite busy."
Oh, by the way, don't bother getting me equipment. I was through the entire dig site last night. I'm staring right at the foreman while I say this. I was through the entire dig site last night, and if I can navigate this at night, I'm pretty sure I'm good in the day.
Lucy's
that was-
looking at the table. at
That
the
was
papers.
quite the dangerous thing to do. I'm surprised that none of our security, prevented you from doing that. That was a very dangerous thing to do, walking around a construction site at night.
Oh,
We don't
yes,
appreciate
you should probably fire all of the guards. They were terrible. But I'm more interested in why the miraculous things that I saw last night are now covered up with dirt.
Miraculous. It's just a public works project. We're just digging some canals. Like when they asked us to come in and, move some dirt for them.
Oh, you've been moving dirt, all right. Quite a lot this morning.
Can I insight check to see if he actually believes that that's what he's doing?
Mm-hmm.
And
Woohoo!
you are
wait, that's
licensed
not me.
by the Empire to do construction, yes?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're here for. The council approved the project. They filed all the permits and everything. They're the ones who asked us to come and work on this, to do this project for them. That's, as far as I know, it's all been routed through Imperial red tape like any of our other projects. And Kinley, he's absolutely full of shit.
The plans on the table, are they even for a canal? And why would there even a canal even be needed here? I'm just looking through the papers.
Oh, Kinley, you should introduce yourself.
Look,
He's gonna do this every place we go now.
yeah, while that's happening, Lucy's just like looking at the papers, seeing what's on the
I
table.
don't think
Okay.
it's necessary, at least at this point.
Lucy, you can make an investigation check that you're getting up close on the model and everything.
Yeah, I'm in there looking over as we talk to the guy, looking over the papers.
Mhm.
But Keeper Bellafoy, I think that it is important that we introduce ourselves.
Then, friends, why don't you introduce yourself first? I'll get so down to follow him afterwards.
I am Zav Keeper Vazagash. Zav Vagash. God, what did I pick a name so hard to say?
Every time I hear it, I want to go, your keeper is our Ashwagash.
I am
I may choose a
Keepa-
different last name at some point.
Maybe. I am Keepa Lucy Lightbearer.
And already partially introduced, I am Keepa Kingly Benefiore.
You're
Hi, I'm Shelly. I don't have a last name.
hi. You're a little young for the Bellafiore that I've heard of.
Oh no, that's her grandfather. He's in Victoria on his way here.
My dear mother spent some time around here.
Hmm. Well, I am.
So about this public works.
Yes. It's what we're here for. We're, digging canals, working on clearing out some buildings. You may have heard us discussing we're gonna put in a new fork, so that way the traffic, the boat traffic through this part of the city was getting all kinds of jammed up on itself. So we were adding some new canals so that way they could sort of move sort of around each other, try to alleviate that congestion. We're just gonna add in an extra fork in the canal so that way they can branch off into the different parts of the city more easily, things of that sort.
And how long have you been working on this public works project?
Few months now, I believe.
A few months, and this is all that you've accomplished? I seen more holes filled last night than I see in the ground now, and you're saying that it's taken you this long to do what you've been doing?
Well, the initial was researching where we wanted the canals to go to best alleviate the traffic congestion that I mentioned, and a lot of pre-planning. I mean, we've only been digging for a short period of time, but we've been in the city working on the project for a few months now.
40-foot holes for a detective is not looking for places to run a canal.
Why is everyone in this city so shady? Is it really going to take your grandfather coming in here and throwing down the hammer for people to speak plainly and truthfully?
It's so much easier if they just tell the truth. I mean, I don't know why people insist on lying to us.
Do I see anything on the table with a 15?
You see, yeah, sorry, it just got pulled.
Yeah.
You do see in the model and plans and things like that. There are what look to be documents for a canal expansion. That you're not overly familiar with that kind of architecture design, but it looks like legit drawings for that kind of a project. But then there's also oh, is it 15? Yeah, you see like a date notation of in like a work journal of work stoppage, um and like need to follow up notation and things like that. And then um the work journal notes that there's been like a shift in the number of people that are involved in the project, and a lot of the dig crews were cut loose and they sent for um, specialty assistance, and there's like notations that there was a pivot in the project.
Kinley? Sorry.
Okay, so Lucy is gonna stop them whenever she sees that, and she's like, seems like you had a change of plan. Pretty big change of plan right here. Special units. Might I ask, what kind?
He kind of leans over and looks
She
at
puts
the
her hand on the table so we can't take the papers away. Like on top of the papers.
he just kind of glances over to see what you were looking at, and it's just like, yes, we're the specialists. They were digging it out manually. They were using what were they, like plows and animal labor and things like that, and it was just not doing the job. That's why they brought us in to do magical construction instead. Once they realized they were going to need to take down some buildings and things, they wanted to more, specialist, more experienced
Well, I mean, with
team brought in.
the amount of dirt you moved last night, this canal should have been done quite a long time.
And
Yeah, I want an
Kinley,
inside check as he says that.
and Kinley, remind me, what would the punishment be for lying to a keeper in regards to future work and perhaps guilds and licenses? Wouldn't those end up getting revoked and probably some prison time and possibly executions?
I don't think that'd be execution unless it was very malicious, but I do see a lot of fines, prison time.
Is he lying to
maybe
me?
some lashes.
Yes, he, like, you pick out that there's little bits of truth in what he just told you. That they were digging the canal themselves, and that they did realize that they needed more help, but he's very, very clearly lying about what kind of help they were there to provide.
What kind of help do you provide?
We're excavation specialists.
You're lying.
No, we're digging holes. You can see there's a hole right behind me.
Oh, I know that.
Did you
but-
already cast that? Did you already cast that truth spell, Lucy, or should you do it now while we're standing?
What truth spell?
Zone of truth. Please tell me you didn't say that out loud.
No, I didn't say that out loud. I'm saying that out of character.
Paladins and clerics can cast Zone of Truth.
I mean,
that's pretty well known.
The question sounded pretty in character, so
Wow, that would be player inexperience knowing spells.
yeah.
No, but that was literally out of character. I was like,
Just follow my lead, Lucy. Come on. We're running a racket here.
Your racket on their racket.
That's right.
Alright, so Lucy says, I'm like, I might have.
Shelly,
No.
let me get a perception check from you, since they're busy just like bombarding this
yeah,
guy.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm just kind of keeping my eyes out for anything. So.
Yeah, while they're hitting him with all kinds of questions and just pulling him side to side, good cop, bad cop, him and things like that.
I'm not so comfortable with actual interrogation, so.
You notice that there had been like a bunch of people standing at this table, and as you've been interrogating the foreman, they've just very quietly inched themselves away, and now it's just you guys and him. Everyone else has just sort of like quietly wandered off to go do something else. The person that went to get the safety gear hasn't come back yet. It's just you guys. And you see that the person that you're talking to, which didn't introduce himself, but his name is Elazal. Elazal is standing there, and he just keeps like side-eyeing Loris. As every time that you keep like pressing harder and harder for why he's there and what he's specifically doing with these holes and things like that, he just keeps like side-eyeing Loris like, are you gonna get them the hell out of here? Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what? Like, you there's like very clear like, I can't.
Do you make us aware, Shelly, that like everyone else is?
So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to have Meryl like do a flyby and see if she can see any like congregating, or if they're all going towards a particular hole to try to cover anything up. And I'm going to like tap Kinley on the shoulder just kind of a little bit, and then leave my hand there, and then look through Meryl's eyes to watch to see what she's seeing.
Okay.
So that's kind of to warn Kinley to look around, but also just to let her know that I'm not there anymore.
I mean, I suppose we could arrest them and wait for your grandfather to get here to sort it out.
We could. I mean, it's a shame that people just can't be honest with us.
I would hate to arrest a foreman and a council member, and I turn my head toward the druid.
It would be quite a shame. I mean, I expected so much more.
Especially all of the cooperation they had
After
offered
all
us.
my grandfather did was to keep them safe.
So they're never mind, there's a lull in there. So you keep going back and forth. You notice like you're doing a flyover. So let me get a perception. There it is. No, that was the other one. There it is. So you
Should that be with mine or with Meryl's?
with Meryl's.
Let me see what that is. I've also, because I opened up the page and saw it again, decided to name my horse Harry Trotter. That's perception. Oh my gosh, okay.
Okay, so
Not my
you
perception rolls.
you do your bit of a flyover. You notice that there are like the people that scattered are just to the wind. Like you're not really sure where they've run off to, but they're making themselves scarce. There's still active construction going on that they haven't stopped working in other parts. The demolished buildings, things that you were hearing before, is still ongoing. But you're not really picking up the people, any trace of the people that were standing around the table. and there are at least a few holes that they didn't get around to further to the south of where you are right now.
So just for fun, I'm gonna have Meryl go down into one of the holes where they're still doing construction. Like, not close enough to get hurt or anything like that, but just to kind of land and look around and be like,
It's expensive to resummon a familiar.
So if you dive in up close, you can make a fresh perception check now that you're a lot closer to a specific hole and not just doing a flyby.
woo, 21.
Okay, so you can see that in this hole there's a bunch of really like fine work equipment. It's not heavy construction equipment. It's like archaeological little picks and brushes and fine kit. Like it looks like somebody doing really precise, fragile work. Their kind of equipment rather than like a heavy dig site type deal. And then you also spot what looks to be bone slightly excavated out of the bottom of this hole. It's big. It's like decent diameter size bone, but it's not fully excavated yet. You've only got little bits and chunks and things, but it's whatever it is, it's big.
Like
it's a-
dinosaur big or like god big?
The first one.
Okay.
So you're talking like you've got bits of bone scattered like that. The bits that's excavated covers maybe like a 15-20 foot kind of length, but there's only little spattering of spots that are exposed at this point. Like they've just started trying to get this out of the ground.
All right. So I'm gonna take a real good look at it, like for reasons. And I'll like go ahead and bring Meryl back and take my hand off of Kinley's shoulder and be like, "Hey, I got a question for you."
Huh? Yeah.
Like, so if I was digging in like my backyard and I found like a dead dog, like, should I call somebody about that?
I don't know. Was it your dog?
I don't know. Okay, so it kind of looks like this, right? And I do minor illusion to make it look like the thing that I just saw.
Oh, that's
Okay.
a really big dog.
And I'm like watching to see if there's any reaction to.
I think we should arrest that.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but just, you know.
So since she kind of got my attention, I look around. I noticed that everyone that was standing around the tent outside of like bailed. No, it seems Elazone, you're kind of left holding the bag.
Where's my rope? I need to bind their hands. And I start rummaging through my bag.
I'll reach into the bag of. I have 3.
Ah, thank you. Hands behind your back, please. And I'm gonna start walking around him with the rope.
At this point, Loris will interject and be like, "Just stop. They're not an Well, they are an excavation crew, but they're not ditch diggers. They're not canal diggers.
What are they?
Oh, look,
They're not.
Loris, I thought we were friends.
We were digging a canal. We
What?
really were. But we found bones. We found bones from extinct animals. And it was too good to pass up. We sent for Elazal and his team, and Elazal's looking a little pale.
I'm still walking around to him to tie his hands behind his back.
Mm-hmm.
still totally inciting everything that Loris is saying.
At this point, it seems like Loris has kind of cracked and is laying bare what's going on. It's just they're necromancers.
Okay. Are they officially licensed by the Empire?
Elizal looks over her shoulder. It's like, of course, necromancy is legal in the Empire. It's just frowned upon. Nobody likes us, so we try not to advertise our particular school of wizardry. Thank you very much, Loris.
I'm not concerned about that, as I'm tying his hands behind his back if he's not resisting.
No, he's not he's not really thrilled with it, but at the same time, he's not about to like kick off a fight with you at this point. He's still expecting this to resolve peacefully, and Loris is just like, we brought them in to help us bring the animals back. We saw the opportunity to make the extinct unextinct. We've had a lot of success. That's why we locked everything down. We moved everyone out. We just started digging holes all over the place. We were turning up, bones left and right, and they've been bringing them back. And we've had druids coming through and learning as much as they can about these animals that have been lost to time. And like a few of us can, wild shape into them now, and it like she trying to half mumble through some of the specifics, but at the same time, it's we've brought them back. They're no longer extinct. This is a great triumph for nature.
And why lie to us about it?
Well, some of them are kind of big, and the idea of all of a sudden one of the kingdoms in the empire has a huge is generous. There's only a few of them here and there at this point, but if all of a sudden we've got all of these like large carnivorous creatures all of a sudden on our side that might make you people nervous, so we were trying to just quietly bring them back, and then we were like, hey, look at what we did, it's so great, but we didn't get to that part yet.
But if what you're saying is true, those druids would be fine soldiers in our war against Unnamed Kingdom.
To be determined.
Someday she'll name it.
You have to change your voice when you say that and be like, against Unnamed Kingdom.
Against
Yeah.
Unnamed Kingdom.
Yeah. Perfect.
I forgot to write it down. I did think of a name for the kingdom on the other side of the war, and then I forgot to write it down, and I can't think of it right now. But I swear that I did name it within the last week.
I'm gagging
I
the
have one
wizard now,
question.
by the way. I'm gagging him so that he can't speak, as well as can't move his hands.
I do have a question. When you say bringing them back, are we talking like resurrection, or are we talking like zombified?
No, they're we
Because necromancers kind of deal with like the zombified side,
we
or skeletons, since they're
yeah,
bones.
it was a little tricky. We had some issues with the zombie thing. Elizal would be able to explain it better, but he's a little preoccupied at the moment. But we had his team would bring them back, and then the clerics would undead them, and then they were just normal creatures again, and they were able to we've been keeping them well contained, but they've been pairing off and started reproducing on their own recently. We've seen some eggs laid already, which is very promising, and it was all very exciting work, but we wanted to get ourselves organized before we came and told everybody in the empire, like the rest of the empire, about it, because this is kind of a big deal for like.
Yeah, I know that you're probably trying your best, and you're doing the best that you can with what you've gotten, with what you know and everything, but I kind of don't really trust your containments anymore.
And
After what
as
happened yesterday?
Shelly is having this conversation, I am leading the mage over to where she is, and I smile at her. Put your hands behind your back, please.
I'm sorry, what?
You lied to a keeper. You're going to jail.
A council member. We were operating within our.
And the council member, you're a council member within the Empire. You broke an Imperial law. You're going to pay for it. No one is above the law. Your hands, please.
She's still kind of like not full on resisting, but she's not complying either. She's just kind of like, but I mean, we ran this past Bardolphus, and he said that, you know,
Did Bardolphus tell you to lie to us?
Well, he said that it would take time for the rest of the Empire to understand the importance of the work we were doing. So he suggested that we just try to nudge you away from it as best we could until it was ready.
So, the Empire's official representative to this kingdom instructed you to nudge the officials of the Empire away from what you were doing.
I mean, we should probably go talk to him too.
Arrest him too, probably.
I mean, it seemed reasonable enough. Like we're just, you know, we didn't want you guys to take this the wrong way. That's why we wanted to, like, we were trying to, you know, get things, like, I was trying to get you to stay away from it, so that way we would have time to put together something to, like, explain it better. Like, you just.
And so you lying to us in the meantime is just a side effect of you trying to present it better.
Yeah, we wanted to be able to,
I'm gonna gag her.
Oh crap! What the hell was I supposed to do? I'm debating what to do in this instance, because she's not thrilled with this prospect, but at the same time, it's.
She's got there's an angry paladin.
Give her a wisdom save against herself.
Yeah.
Lucy is extremely angry because there's a necromancer, and there's been necromancy around.
I mean, necromancy isn't always that bad. It's just, you know, what it's used for.
She's a paladin of Lathander. Lathander and necromancy.
I mean, no, I mean just like in character, Shelly would be like, you know.
Oh, okay, you're in character. Sorry.
I get what
Zara
you're saying.
Zara as a person actually think it's kind of cool, you know, dinosaurs living, druids turning into them. That's really cool. He's just pissed off at the fact that they lied to him. That's the only crime he sees them really committing. So. Yes, exactly.
They defiled bodies. For us, that's a crime for Lucy.
Animal bodies.
Well, that's still defiling if you raise.
But they had clerics help bring them back to life.
Necromancy.
And before she turns into a T-Rex and attacks us.
Oh, Jesus. No! Don't give the DM.
I think that's too high challenge rating, but you know. It's fine, I'll just cause it fear.
Oh, come on, it's only a CR7, guys.
Yeah, I don't think even Moon
what?
can do that. Until you get like true polymorph or whatever it is.
So yeah, she is. This is. I'm sorry. I'm just very torn on how to react to this whole situation. Because she's a council member, but at the same time, she's very much like, holy shit, I'm about to get arrested. So she is. what is she gonna do? She is going to. Let's see. What is it? Yeah, she is going to wild shape into a velociraptor and make a claw swipe at you, Zara, since you're the one who's trying to tie people up.
Oh, okay.
Is there any way Lucy can shield him since she's closed, or not really? Since she already made the attack.
It's like as long as it took me to settle on the decision, the attack was pretty instantaneous. It was like wild shape, swipe.
And Zar's kind of like right next to her, so.
Behind her, yeah.
Okay, so let's see. So that's a hard miss. It's like she's in a panic. So she takes a swipe at you, but it just whoosh, misses. You can step back away from it. But she is.
I am going to, as she takes that hit at me and misses, I have, where is it?
Oh lordy.
There.
I am going to pull my sword and riposte, which is one of my abilities from Battlemaster,
Mm-hmm.
and lash back at her. It is a reaction. So I'm gonna return in kind. Oh, and
Exactly.
yes, because, well, I'm holding a rope in one hand. It's hard. I'm a 2-weapon fighter, guys.
He was in mid tie. He's got like ropes now all around his arms that she's
Yeah.
transformed.
Yeah, it's in the like chaos of all of that going on. You go in, you pull the rapier and in a like quick motion go for a jab, but the raptor manages to like shove to the side and you miss. What's everybody else doing? You guys gonna try to jump in on this, or you're gonna stand
Yeah.
back and let it happen?
I mean, that ain't no good, so. I'm probably gonna like at least spend one round trying to convince her that this is not what she wants to do, because actually attacking a keeper is not the best plan for survival or career.
Okay. Everybody, roll up initiative. We'll have. We'll start at whoever winds up behind Czar, and we'll work through the table. My mouse is.
Oh my god! I'm paying for those nat 20s earlier.
I'm before you again. Oh, I forgot to click on my token. Shit. I thought I clicked on my token. Oh well. Oh, I can.
The wizard can cower on his turn because he's bound and gagged.
Misty step. Free of lines.
That's true. That's true. You could Misty step.
I keep rolling the highest initiative somehow and then picking the most passive options, so I apologize, guys.
As long as they're only wasted on their fucking initiative.
Actually, I remember. I have lucky. I have lucky.
Could have used it on that rapier shot.
Yep.
Yes, but this is better. There we go. I'm happy with that.
Okay. We're gonna have the raptor go immediately before you,
Okay.
and just for
You
simplicity.
couldn't use it on your initiative roll, though.
Huh? Can't use lucky on initiative?
No, it's only on attacks
Oh.
and saving throws.
Well, then I'm 5. Damn it.
Trust me, how many times I want to re-roll my initiative with freaking Aurora. I can only do it if I roll a 1 because of her halfling thing.
Yeah, athlete thing. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna sort like that. So the raptor swooshed, Czar swinging a miss with the rapier. Kinley's up, and immediately after Czar, and then we'll come around to the top, and it'll be Shelly's go.
Who's up next?
You are.
Alright. So I'll make my own.
I thought she said Shelly.
Shelly rolled the highest initiative, but I said we were gonna do whoever's up after Czar was gonna go next, and then we'll circle around to the top.
Sorry.
You're fine. It's a little bit different from how it would normally go. It's just because of how like rapid fire everything went.
I will attack with a longsword and try and do that. That hit?
15 will hit.
3 non-lethal damage, basically. Smashing her with the broadside of the blade.
Okay. She's still up, and then it comes around to Shelly's turn. Unless there's something else you wanted to do. Okay.
So I am going to. I'll try to appeal to her better judgment and try to convince her. Listen, I know you're upset right now and you don't want to go to jail. We still have to go talk to your boss. And maybe you'll be not convicted or whatever because it could be his fault or something. But look, if you bite him, you're totally boned, okay? So, unless you want to find yourself in one of these pits, you probably should just go ahead and stop now.
Make a persuasion check. It's pretty high. You can tell that she's definitely hearing where you're coming from, and like you're making good points, but at the same time she's in a bit of a panic because she was about to be arrested. So she's staying in raptor form, but she's also like rethinking what she just did in a moment of adrenaline rush. But things are still rolling at the moment.
That's it.
Okay. So it gets around to Elazal's turn, and he is going to try to very quietly, in all the chaos, make his way out. And his hands are tied and he's gagged, so he can't really cast any spells, but he can at least
I'm
leg
still
it.
holding on to the rope. I said that when I attacked what's her name, that I was holding on to the rope and I could only use one rapier. So he would actually be pulling on me if he's trying to make his way out the door. Because the ropes are 50 feet long.
You ran a line on it?
Yes.
I thought you just tied up his hands. I didn't realize you ran out the line. So he is still going to try to make a run for it. He's going to get to that 50 feet mark and give a tug. So contested strength.
Oh, God. Okay. I'm a fighter. Motherfucker!
See, now you can use your lucky.
Yes, and I'm going to.
Oh.
He should have disadvantage because he's basically grappled.
There we go.
Hot and cold.
Yeah, really. One super extreme to the other. So he gives a real good tug, and you feel the rope starting to slide. But you've got just enough of a reaction that you can clamp down on it, and it tugs back. So he's at the length of the rope. The rope is taut in your hand, but it didn't slip out.
Whatever.
Okay.
So you're definitely aware that, like, oh hey, he's trying to run, but he didn't quite get away, and it's now around to Lucy.
Uh, Shitty should try to talk her into it. So, oh god damn. Okay, Lucy. Well, okay, Lucy's pretty mad, so we're gonna try to Druid out. Like, knock her out with her hand axe. So does that work if I do that? Yeah,
You
it's
do
a
a normal
neat.
attack, you say you're doing it non-lethally.
Yeah, non-lethal. Just trying to
Okay.
knock her out.
That will hit. It's not enough to knock her out. She's dazed from it, but she's not. She's still in raptor form, and she's still up. She's just looking a bit woozy, from taking a clean shot to the head. Is that all you're doing?
That's all I can do.
Okay. So it is around to Loris's turn in raptor form. She's assessing the situation, and she's gonna try to make a run for it. So she's gonna still in raptor form. She's just gonna try to leg it out, and so Lucy and Czar are close enough to get attacks of opportunity if you choose to take them.
Yep.
But she's
Yeah.
gonna try to make a break for it.
Do I roll the same thing?
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, for 18. Come down on top
Oh.
of her head, bam, with the side of the blade.
Okay. Are you all still trying to do non-lethal damage?
Yeah, I'm trying to knock her
Yeah,
out.
just trying to knock her
Okay.
out.
That's what I assumed, but I just wanted to make sure before I resolved it. So Lucy got hers off first, and the blunt side of her hand axe bonked the raptor on the head, and she turns back into Loris right as a longsword clunks her on the side of the head, and she gets knocked out cold
Oh.
because it has just a whole lot of damage all at once.
Well, it's basically
Okay.
go down so we heal up and she chase back and then she gets knocked out.
Okay, as soon as she's down and Lucy Zara's having a bit of a issue with the wizard, necromancer, whatever you want to call it, she's gonna help him with the.
oh yeah. I'm just gonna start like
Dragging him
pulling the
back.
rope as I walk toward him.
Lucy's gonna follow him.
I will tie up
Which,
Necromancer.
yeah. Plus, it would be my turn anyway, so I would be able to easily catch up with him using my movement. No, 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 no. You're not going anywhere.
And you can just see him looking more than a little pissed. And it's like I was keeping my mouth shut because Loris was standing there. I was waiting for Loris to, sort this out, and then she goes and screws the whole thing up. And like he's very upset. He can't
He can't
Like,
say it, but he looks
convey it
super
to you,
pissed.
but he's very pissed.
I just. Wait, none of my other keepers are around right now, right? It's just me out. Oh no, Lucy's there. Okay, I'm fine with Lucy. I'm just gonna lean into him and I'm gonna say,
followed it behind.
"You're not what we's after. Don't worry. I've been in your exact same spot before. Just stay calm and everything will be fine." He's showing that nicer side to him that he doesn't show in front of most people, so
Except
that's why it was just in front of Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
Lucy knows.
But he's being honest. He's being honest with the guy, so he is generally telling him it's going to be okay, not to worry too much.
So yeah, you have an unconscious Loris, where the raptor used to be.
Tied up, dragged back.
And you have a tied up and gagged Elazal the necromancer slash construction crew chief. Everyone else scattered. The construction that was going on from just like the random hired hands has obviously come to a stop now in all the commotion and craziness and oh my god, there's a raptor loose of it all. So they're just kind of watching you escort them out of the dig site, just kind of
Yeah.
like,
And
do we stop? Do we work? Do we leave? What do we do?
I look at him and I say, well, continue your work.
Really?
Yes, nothing here was done illegally except for people lying to us. Well, and her turning into some kind of a lizard queen and attacking me.
Oh, okay.
When nothing you were doing was really illegal. So keep up your work. Take this as an example. Be up and up with the Empire. Earn your pay. Have a nice day.
Fair enough. And the like smaller group chiefs are just like, okay, you heard them. Get back to moving. And they're going back to what their morning orders were in terms of what they should clear, what they should start digging out, that kind of stuff. And they're just working away. You can escort back out to the wall that you came in through. You pass those guards who are looking very confused at the tied up council member unconscious and the tied up crew chief not unconscious, strolling through looking very just was it consternation is the word I'm thinking of, I think. But just very just kind of like fidgety and grumpy and kind of tugging a bit and just like, this is getting ridiculous. How did I wind up in this situation?
We would be going back to the city hall.
Okay, so are you trying to be subtle about it, or are you just marching them through town on full
Marching them
display?
through town on full display.
Okay. So you march through town with them on full display. You're getting a lot of looks from a lot of people, especially druids. Anyone who has strong ties to the council member that you're carrying unconscious. How are you carrying? Is it over somebody's shoulder, or are you just dragging them on the ground?
No, she's over Lucy's shoulder.
Okay.
I'm not gonna drag her on the ground.
I was just checking. I didn't know what your plan was. We've already had previous experiences with body dragging, so I just thought I'd ask.
This is a different story.
There's precedence for asking the question is all. So you're getting a lot of looks from everybody, but especially from druids. You see a few animals take distinct notice. A few of them look like they're half tempted to try to stop you, but they're not sure why. She's unconscious, so they're not intervening. But you can definitely tell that there's a vibe, there's a tension as you're walking through the streets of just like, do we stop them? Do we not? Like, what do we? Everyone's kind of looking for somebody to make a decision or like somebody to do something, and they're all gonna follow, but nobody's willing to make the first move.
If anybody tries to make a move, they get a death glare from the angry paladin.
So
then Shelly walks up and gives them a hug.
Yeah. So you do eventually make it back to the council chambers. Where are we at here? Yeah. So you make it back to the council chambers. You've got people have been like following you. Not a lot of them, but a few people have been following, trying to be nosy, trying to see like what's going on, where you're going. And, like, they get to the door and you walk in, and they're looking at each other like, "Can we follow them in? Do we stop?" Like you've drawn a crowd at this point. There's
we just close the door behind us as we go in.
Slam the door shut.
Okay, so you are all
Sorry.
down this way. Initially, when you come in, work your way back through. You're gonna come back into the council chambers.
Oh yeah, we'll be going straight back to
Ah,
Bardolphus.
They're not in their session seat. We're going back to their meeting chambers.
Let's see who is still there. Because it's a new day. Stuff's going on. They're busy doing work, things of that sort. So Malata and Capria are not there.
all right.
And so when you walk into the room, you see Bardolphus sitting there. He's scribbling notes in a book, just kind of documenting things, and looks like he's doing just some daily record keeping type business. Wasn't expecting you or any sort of like significant business today. He's just kind of chilling out, relaxing.
No one expects the Imperial Inquisition.
No,
Indeed.
no, most certainly not. So you stroll into the room, Loris over Lucy's shoulder. Bardolphus is sitting there. What would you like to do?
Ah.
Oh, hello, Bartholomew.
Do you throw the
Oh,
bodies
fuck.
over now?
Put her in her chair, Lucy.
No, Lucy will keep a hold of her.
Hi.
Looks up from his note keeping. What's going on?
Well,
Maybe you should
Um,
hold her.
this
Mike.
chap, and I sort of yanked the rope a little bit to pull him into the room, is under arrest for lying to a keeper of the Empire. She is under arrest for lying to a keeper of the Empire and then assaulting a keeper of the Empire. Thought there wasn't any problem with druids.
I mean, it sounds like you have a problem with a druid.
Are
My
you-
council member is currently unconscious.
Yes, that's because she turned into some kind of lizard creature that I've never seen before and attacked me. And she said she knows how to do that because you allowed the druids to dig up and reanimated long dead creatures and instructed her and the other council members not to tell us about it.
And he kind of snaps the book shut in his hand and does one of these sort of things, and it's just
Might I see that?
And he just kind of slides the book under another book, and it's just so you went to our public works project where you really weren't supposed to go.
Wait. Why are we not supposed to go there?
Well,
We're
it's
keepers,
it's
we
a
can
We're
go wherever
keepers
we
of the
please.
Empire. Are you saying there are places that we cannot go?
not that you can't go, but it's an active construction site. It's very dangerous. You don't need to be.
It's
You
a
know,
dig
just
site, not a
traipsing.
construction site. It stopped being a construction site when you stopped constructing and started digging up old dead things. So let's be honest now.
We were still gonna build the canal when we were done. It's just a matter of a minor delay for the sake of anthropology.
Well, I really don't care about all of that because none of it's illegal. But what is illegal is lying to a keeper of the Empire, attacking a keeper of the Empire, and on your part, attempting to cover up something and keep it from the Empire.
We're the keepers.
That's right, Shelley.
You don't
I-
keep secrets.
I exercised my discretion as the head of the council to choose the right time to push this further up the chain of command, as I'm sure you would consider it.
After you resurrected the possibly dangerous creatures, that would be a threat. Whether
Well,
you
that
guys
is-
consider a threat.
Orb uses soldiers. Zar obviously has a different opinion than some of the others.
Right. That's why we needed to be able to, control the narrative. If I just sent a letter to the capital that was just, hey, we found some extinct animals, brought them back to life. Just an FYI, like that would be a huge cause for concern. But if we can get some up and running, well, not running because we keep them penned, but
Oh no, they can run. She tried.
up and about, and show the benefits of the work that we've been doing and how, we've tight of a ship we're running here. We'd be able to demonstrate the good nature of the work and not have people jumping to assumptions about the potential downsides. We're trying to approach this in the best interest of the empire. We were just, trying to keep it quiet for a little while. I'm sure
And-
you can. I'm sure keepers of all people can understand keeping things uh, tight knit and to limited in scope. In terms, you have your fair share of secrets.
Inside check.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
I got a 15.
No, I understand where you're coming from, but
So
When the-
far,
when the-
everything's legit as far as you can tell.
but here's the problem with what you're saying. Once the Empire was here, you should have come clean and not hide it, because now it looks nefarious. And whatever kind of narrative you were trying to display, you have no control of that now because you chose to withhold information from us.
And whatever is in that
And
book that you just hid.
And we came here on rumors of druids and insurrection, and then find out the druids are turning into giant reptilian beasts. How do you think that looks to us, considering you kept that information from us?
Well, I'm gonna stress, I don't know anything about these insurrection rumors. I'm very confident they were all blown out of proportion. If you hadn't gone to the construction site, you never would have known that we weren't telling you about the construction site. I don't know what Loris has been up to in the last day, but
If I break into your house and steal everything that you have, and you don't know that it's me, it doesn't make it all right that I did it, because you didn't know it was me. So stop talking in circles.
I don't really know what you expect me to say in that.
The truth.
Like, I'm being truthful. It's a matter of, um, like I said, I was just trying to approach this in a sensible and controlled manner, and the keepers have a tendency to, I I hesitate to use the words overreact, but gesturing at the unconscious cleric, have a tendency to act rashly in
She attacked first before
questionable
I knocked her out.
situations.
She turned into a lizard and attacked me. You're lucky she's alive.
The Empire has all the right to react to anything they perceive as a possible threat. And by Lois's words, herself, some of the creatures we were pulling back were quite dangerous. And to be used as some form of that is something that the Empire would definitely see as
And I would think that someone the Empire instilled here to manage this kingdom would be the first one to realize that. I can understand her even him, he was just getting paid to do a job legally. But you, an Imperial citizen by blood and right, keeping things, that doesn't sit well with me. And I'm going to start untying the wizard and ungagging him. You're free to go.
Fair enough. And he'll just
My issue
kinda
was
let
never
himself-
with you. I gave him a pat on the back. Told you it'd be okay.
And he's out. He's gonna bounce with due haste.
Do
Lucy's
you
just
want
gonna-
me to
Oh.
let the Loris speak for herself, or
She can speak for herself from a cell. She'll wake up eventually. I mean, unless the rest of you think that she needs to talk.
Why would she need to?
I mean, because she's the only other one who actually knows what's going on, so if she can give us information on what he's doing, either that, I mean, we're probably going to take them both up to back home to talk to things, talk to people
Actually,
about
that's
what's
fine.
happening in here. So,
Well, I don't think we have to go home. We just need to go to Victoria, where grandfather is.
true.
What
But-
are you thinking, like?
Go ahead. Let's secure the doors so that she doesn't, go running off again. And then wake her up, I guess. Kinley, what do you think?
That's fine with me.
All right, I'll take the rope and tie the doors closed.
So,
Alright.
do we want to do it clean or with the jellyfish?
Oh, definitely with the jellyfish.
Cool.
Lucy
Cool.
will set her down.
All over.
2 hit points. Nice.
Okay. I mean, that's more than enough to bring her back to consciousness.
So
Um,
there's the glowy tattoos and stuff and the jellyfish.
mhm.
Right in the face. And just kind of like tap her on the cheek and be like, wake up. It's time to wake up now. Good morning.
Jellyfish.
So she's gonna wake up and just kind of, huh? What? Oh, damn it!
Man, I
Re-
told you
realizing
not
that
to.
running
not
away
to
didn't
do
work.
it.
Like I know, but I panicked. I didn't know what else to do.
So you chose the stupidest thing you could do.
I mean, it would have been fine if I had gotten away. I just needed to.
Just to let you know, I've already let the wizard go. I wasn't planning on throwing you both in jail, but since you transformed into a creature and attacked me, now you're definitely going in a cell.
Oh God. Damn it. She's just looking right.
All goofy.
Yeah, she's just like trying to shake some of the goop. And she realizes what room she's in, and she looks around and she sees Rodolphus, and she's like, "Are you gonna can you help me here?" And he's just kind of looking at her like, "What? You attacked them? What the hell did you do that for?" So she's awake and at your disposal. She's not
Right.
exactly gonna try to make a run for it twice. It's not big
I
enough.
motioned to Shelly. She's the one that wanted to, or they are the one that wanted to talk to her.
Yep.
Yeah, I just, I thought that maybe you two might have a little discussion that you wanted to do, figure out who's actually at fault here for what happened. Because it's like, did you really think that keeping it from us was the right idea? And, like, where did that idea come from? And, like, why was it so important? And, I mean, I don't know. I thought we were friends.
Oh.
It looks a little kind of, a little not like disappointed in herself a little bit. But it's the Loris is just kind of like, well, I was scared that you were gonna put them down. You know, the Bardolphus made it sound like if you found out about them and took it the wrong way, that you were gonna just, you know, wipe them out. And we just got them
Did-
back, and they're just majestic and beautiful. And you should see the tall one with the big neck, and it's like, grr, and like,
Just,
Well-
just
it's a
look me in the eye real quick. Look me in the eye and look at my leg and tell me that you honestly thought that I was going to put some animals down when their biggest crime was existing.
kind of side glances at the rest of the group and is like, the not necessarily a one person decision.
That would
It's
depend on
not
the threat that each empire would have to the
represented.
empire.
For the record, I think it's amazing what you're doing, and I think that those creatures, even the one you turned into and to attack me, would provide great support and value to the empire. So I see no reason why to kill any of them.
Exactly, but the your keepers, you have a certain reputation.
Yes, and now you, being a council member and a leader among druids, have now given the druids of this city the reputation of being volatile and dangerous, if provoked.
Well, we're just very protective of our citizens, all of our citizens. You know,
Yes.
even the ones that the rangers don't particularly care for. We try our best to be stewards of the land, and I got a little carried away. I don't know what to tell you.
Tell us more about the horrible things Bardolphus said we might do.
Well, I mean, that was kind of the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
And he's just kind of like, well, I mean, you do have a reputation for dealing with things by force. You know, I don't feel like I misled Loris by giving them that impression. I mean, it's not like you haven't done it before. It's Loris just kind of gives a nod, like, yeah. Well.
I'm gonna use Mage Hand real quick to like pluck that book that he was writing in out and hand it to Lucy, since she's really curious about.
Okay. Try for a sleight of hand check to see if you.
I mean,
can
I don't
slip
really
it out.
care if they notice it. Just
So the book starts to slide out from under the other book, and he just kind of puts his hand down on it, and your hand doesn't have enough pull to get it out from under.
Screw this. I'm just gonna walk over and grab it.
I'm just like looking at him like, bruh, come on. You're already boned. Just let us look.
Hiding something again?
I'm walking right over to the desk, and I'm gonna try and take the book.
Okay. So you work your way around the, like, they look like braziers, but they're not necessarily. But you work your way through them and reach across the table and grab onto the spine of the book that had wiggled out a little bit from Shelly's mage hand and just start giving it a tug. And he's pushing down pretty hard on the top book to try to keep you from pulling it out, but he's at the same time, he's not like gonna punch you over it or anything like that. So he's just kind of like making it unnecessarily difficult, and you finally slide it
Yeah.
out from under.
I'm gonna
And-
use my mage hand to just press against his forehead, just to be annoying because he's pissing them off. So
I'm gonna flip open the book before I hand it to Lucy and try to see what's in it.
Shelly doesn't really like being a tool, but you know they're pissing them off. So
Yeah. So it seems to be just a personal account of what's been going on. It's not a private journal, but it's more of his his personal official notes on the goings on in the kingdom.
All right, I toss it over to Lucy.
Lucy will rifle through and see if she can't find anything suspicious, more suspicious than what's already
And then-
been happening.
Check
'Cause-
around the dates that you saw on the plans.
And then I'm gonna reach across the desk and knock that other book that is now laying on the desk just off the desk.
You're
Okay,
just being obnoxious now.
Give it a swipe and it goes flying. Like that. Don't think that was really necessary, do you? You can make it.
overreacts.
Well, we've already
Yeah.
learned that what you think is appropriate can't be judged without, more than a grain of salt. So,
Okay, Lucy, flipping through the book, just make an investigation check for me.
Alright, she will also cross-checks the dates she saw on the plans. It's the investigation. Please be good to me. 12, that's not that bad.
Yeah. Since you're specifically looking for dates relating to the dig and stuff like that, you do find notations of the first skeleton being unearthed and the canal project that Bardolphus pushed hard to get approved in the first place. Now the druids are demanding that they stop and that they, need to look into this further, and it's a big find. He is very sort of dismissive of the idea initially. There's a lot of like snarky comments about the druids and their precious bones and things of that sort. Like you can tell that he wasn't at all excited for the project the way that they were.
doesn't
He
really
just
like the
wanted to
druids.
get his canal built so he could, like, he was looking at it from a bureaucratic standpoint. He wanted his canal, and now all of a sudden he's got a massive excavation project going on in his city. He's had to relocate a bunch of residents, pay for their housing, buy their land, all this kind of stuff, and he's just like, the hell are we doing? But at the same time, let's see, it's all for 12. Yeah, you do also see some notes, just sort of some allusions to potential, just notes of opportunities and potential, like little things in the margin about different skeletons that they've found and the kind of animals that they're bringing back. And there's little like symbols, little asterisks, and other kinds of notations and things like that. But there's no key for them that you're able to find in the book.
I'll pass the book to Shelly and see, like, do you recognize any of these signs?
well, I'm gonna go over and talk to the druid
Maybe
while
they're
Shelly
magical,
does
I
her
don't know.
investigation.
Maybe. Can I see if I know anything about them or can figure anything out about it?
Sure. Go for let's see. I guess it would be a history check.
Ooh, I can do that.
Damn it.
Uh-huh. That's with a
So-
+5.
Yeah. So
Oh.
there's you vaguely recognize a few of the names of the different creatures that are mentioned and things like that, but not really specifics. Like you're like, that one, I think that one was kind of big, and that one might have been a meat eater, maybe.
Oh, that wasn't
I
on
don't
the
know.
dice.
I didn't really pay a lot of attention in this class. We're mostly working on your spell work, so you weren't really paying a lot of attention in.
That's fair. Those spells are hard.
Yeah.
Well, Lucy was more pointing towards the signs he left in the margin.
Yeah.
Oh, those are just
The coding.
his personal choice of symbols and things.
Oh.
So they're not really anything that you can make heads or tails of. It's just
Damn it.
his own personal notation.
Aw, man.
So, Bawdank, what do you think we should do with the druid?
I mean, well, they attacked you, which was very foolhardy. But you know how druids can be. They're just, she said it herself, they're very protective of the. I would just, maybe for the sake of the council, that we don't have to go through the whole process of finding a replacement druid. You just slap on the wrist and just...
I think 100 gold fine would be appropriate.
Yeesh.
He just kind of looks at Loris like, "You heard the man," and it's like, "I don't have it on me. I just with playing tour guide, like they're going back and forth. Like, I'm not footing a bill. You're footing a bill. I'm not footing a." And Bardolphus finally just like, "Can you untie the door, please?"
Yeah, I'll untie the door and give the rope back to Shelly.
And he'll reach under the desk and pull out a bell and give it a ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. And you'll see. Let's bring it to there. A head kind of pops in the doorway. Yes, what can I do for you, sir? And it's like 100 gold out of the council petty cash, please. And and he goes and runs off. Comes back, bag of gold in hand. 100 gold. And kind of gesture around like who he's supposed to hand it to.
I take it.
Lordy.
Hands it over. There you go. It's like,
Thank you.
anything else that you need? He's kind of looking like, should I send for help or guard? Like, not
kind of
saying out loud,
hungry.
but there's that conveyance between the person that stuck their head in and who clearly seems to be their boss of like, is there anything else that you need me to try to assist with in this?
I'm hungry. Could bring some food.
You're always hungry.
Yeah.
Food, right? Yeah. Anything else? And like, just
Dude, they're fine. Just go.
okay. And pull themselves out of the doorway and scamper off.
No food.
I am going to toss the bag of gold to Shelly after removing some of it for myself. There we go. For anything we may need extra expenditures for. I'm going to take 25 gold for myself, though.
Okay.
That leaves 75 in the bag.
Yep.
If you choose to distribute it or not. Well, after. Anyways. Oh, God, what to do now?
Yeah. Back up to 72 gold now.
Damn.
All right. Well, that settles that. Of course, we're going to need a public apology. And, of course, some instruction on why it's a bad thing to lie to and assault a keeper of the Empire.
Rodolphus is like, from me? From Loris?
Well, you are the leader of this city.
Well, yes, but I mean, what kind of a public apology do you need? Loris is the one who attacked you. I'm sure,
That's true.
my bad.
She can do the
Oops.
apology, and you can remind the citizens that keepers require 100% of their attention and their cooperation. That would come better from you rather than the druid that attacked one of them. Wouldn't you think?
I suppose that's true. Yeah. It'll take some time to try to get everyone.
Oh, they're all outside.
Oh yes, most of the city followed us here.
Most of the city is
right outside the door.
Right out the door.
Huh.
Of course, I'm exaggerating, but he doesn't know that.
No, because he's been here in the chambers.
Yeah.
Okay. Public apology. Fine's been paid, and an announcement confirming the keeper's authority. I mean, that seems reasonable enough, I suppose.
It does. And for now, we're just as long as it doesn't happen again, we're gonna forget about your little subterfuge. But if it happens again,
Did we say they have to send this up to their boss?
oh, I'm sure Kinley will be more than happy to do that for them.
Yes, if necessary.
Like full reporting of everything going on.
Oh, I'll take care of that at night when we're resting. I will send off some messages.
So I think we're good.
For now.
All right then. All right. Well, we want to go do this now then, or
No time like the present. And I'll open
Oh.
the doors and start making my way out.
okay, okay. Sure. Yeah, and stand up and follow you out. Loris will come along too.
Lucy will be last.
It's gonna be some random guy running food up to me in the middle of the speech. It's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. Nice. Okay. I am. Let's see. Going to say, because to be perfectly honest, I need to buy myself a little bit of time.
Yes.
We'll call the session here. It is 11 o'clock at night. At least my time, which is where we normally end anyway. We'll pick back up next week with them walking out the front door to the waiting crowd of curious, nosy onlookers who are wondering just what the hell was going on inside of the council chambers. And then we'll roll from there.
Yeah.
Like,
Wizkid should be back next week too, right?
Yes.
Yes. We should be back to having our whole party with us once again, which will be interesting because Finnegan is currently a couple
debt.
100 miles away. Oh, and substantially in debt thanks to your generous spending.
I
I
didn't
may or may not be
shit.
handing him some gold out of that bag of
I will
gambling.
have a camera by then, by the way, so that'll be amazing.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll pick back up with the party split Finnegan off in Victoria, and you guys all here getting ready to march Bardolphus and Loris out the front door to make some kind of public statement.
All right. Would like to thank our sponsors again. World Anvil has everything you need. Start building and creating your world. Get started for free right away at www.worldanvil.com and join their Discord. Their Discord is awesome. Thanks again to Roll20 for the support, providing us our virtual tabletop and the 2 compendiums and whatnot that they've given us. That is amazing. We will be back, hopefully, well, not us, but hopefully Ravnica will be on tomorrow. We've got Chaos Reigns on Saturday, and we've also got, I can never remember the name of that campaign.
Unlawful something.
Yes.
Unlawful
Unlawful something on Saturday morning.
Keep it in
Saturday
order.
evening is Chaos Reigns. On Sunday, will be God. I forgot the name of my own campaign. Cunning Limited. WizKid will actually be back on Sunday, I believe. So he should be there for that. And also, Julia is going to be joining that trope of characters for an
Yeah.
adventure. We are going to raid Rise Up Gaming.
Nice.
It has.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate everything. We love your faces.
Stay frosty.
Stay frosty. See everybody.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Raid away. And he's at a BRB screen.